The world is ruled by the serpent race, and every year 99 spirit rabbits are selected as sacrifices to the Snake King. Softy, a gentle little rabbit, is this year's victim. The offerings are all pampered and fattened to have the softest meat possible. The first time they saw the snake clan, the rabbits trembled in terror. Even a single hiss from the black snake sent them into panicked shape-shifting. He especially favored the young and beautiful rabbits. Those rabbits not chosen by him would be sent to the spicy rabbit palace and turned into dishes like spicy rabbit heads, 8 treasure steamed rabbit, or grilled rabbit. The terrified rabbits huddled close together. It was said that if they didn't shapeshift, they'd be eaten on the spot. They hurriedly transformed into beautiful young women. The only one who didn't budge was Softy. From the day she was born, her mother had warned her that it was better to let the Snake King swallow her whole than to turn into human form. While the Snake King was distracted by the other transformed rabbits, Softy quietly slipped away from the viewing platform, avoiding being picked by any snake. She had a mission to convince the Snake King to help her kill the Crown Prince. Softy anxiously weaved through the crowd of snakes, searching for the Crown Prince. She wasn't paying attention and suddenly got kicked. She tumbled head over heels across the ground, her mind spinning. This is it, she thought. I'm about to become a spicy rabbit head. A deep male voice rang out. How did this rabbit end up here? Softy puffed up her cheeks, lifted her head, and glared at the speaker. Her heart sank. My life's over. The third prince grabbed the scruff of her neck and lifted her up. Through her lashes, she saw a slender man with a gentle and kind appearance, making her think he must be a good snake. A guard named Lu Yi leaned close to the prince's ear and whispered, Your Highness, this is a pink wood spirit rabbit. Eating it could improve your condition. He replied coldly that he had no interest in a dumb creature that hadn't even shape-shifted. Softy, trembling with fear, let out a tiny sigh of relief. But the next second, Lu Yi stepped closer. Your Highness, if you won't eat this pink wood spirit rabbit, please let me have it. If she ended up with that black snake, she was done for. She squirmed free. She scrambled up onto the man's chest. To save her life, she threw caution to the wind and planted a sweet kiss on his lips, pleading. The man smiled, scooped her up, and said, I've made up my mind. I'm taking her home. Softy's heart raced. Just like the rumors, the snake princes loved being flattered by their offerings. Softy's joy didn't last. His face immediately turned icy as he said he'd take her home for strict punishment. Oh no, he looked so gentle, but he's a total creep. She couldn't go with him. Softy thrashed with all her might. The man pressed her tight against his chest. Keep squirming and I'll skin you right here. A smart rabbit knows when to quit. Softy went limp and lay still. She was carried back to his private chambers. A maid set her on the table and left. Turns out this man was the frail third prince of the capital, Tang Xiu, also known as Prince Yazun. Unlike the crown prince, he'd never been favored since birth. Softy let out a sad sigh. Now that she was in his mansion, she'd definitely be eaten. Probably tossed into a stew before the night was out. What a miserable little rabbit I am. Her ears drooped and tears rolled down, her stomach growling loudly. Being sad only made her hungrier. You hungry? A cute little snake prince was staring at her with big round eyes. Let me take you to some yummy food. The little boy led her out of the room like he owned the place. Softy was scared out of her mind and quickly glanced around. But the third prince, Tang Xiu, had vanished without a trace. Little bunny, want some fried meatballs? And this drumstick is to die for. The mouth-watering smell almost made her cry, but if she got caught, her own legs would be the ones getting fried. She fought back the drool. The little snake prince set the plate of drumsticks next to her. You're the little offering the third prince brought back to help me get stronger, right? Wait, what? I thought I was for the third prince. Softy was totally confused. Don't be scared. You offerings are all so silly. I don't want to eat you, the little snake prince said, wagging his tiny tail and patting her head. Softy looked up at him. The voice, the face. He was the spitting image of the third prince. Could he be Prince Yazun's son? The little prince handed her a skewer of meatballs. I'll eat with you, then we'll be dinner buddies. Full and happy, the snake and the rabbit dozed off on a pile of hay. When Softy woke up, it was early morning, and the little snake prince was gone. She heard the maid's footsteps in the kitchen. Terrified of being spotted, she hopped into a nearby food box. The maid picked up the box, noticed it was heavier than usual, and Softy got jostled around inside. In front of Lu Yi, the maid said the medicine for your highness was ready and handed the box to Lu Yi. Softy's ears shot up, this is bad. She heard Tang Xu's voice, cold as ice from outside. Have you found that little creature yet? Forgive my incompetence, your highness, but I'm certain the offering hasn't escaped the estate. If it gets away, it dies a messy death. Tang Xu lifted the lid of the food box. Softy blinked up at him, trying to look as pitiful as possible. He was furious. He snatched her up. You're pretty good at finding hiding spots. Softy cracked one eye open to assess the situation, only to see the man's toned, pale abs, really hot. She got flustered, squirmed a little, and a strange heat spread through her body. Has it been dosed with aphrodisiac or something? Tang Xu looked down at her with contempt and immediately dropped her. He was shocked when Softy boldly leaped up, cheeks flushed, clinging tight to his chest. Softy didn't know why. She just knew she had to stay close to him. You dare have designs on me. Lu Yi fanned the flames. Your Highness, this offering ate well last night and is plumper now. Stew or grill? Softy hated Lu Yi's big mouth. Every time he opened it, her life hung by a thread. Tang Xu said, Later, first meeting, I'll give a gift. Lu Yi, fetch it. Softy's eyes sparkled, thinking maybe he wouldn't eat her. But Lu Yi came back with a paper rabbit and viciously tore it in half. Mommy, I'm done for! Softy panicked and bolted, slamming into a wall of muscle. Tang Xu calmly picked her up. Such a scaredy cat, yet you lust after me? Remember this, next time you do, you'll end up like that paper bunny. No! Softy thrashed on his chest, struggling desperately. Shut up! Stop moving! Tang Xu grumbled, pressing her head into his chest. The impact made her forehead bleed, and she blinked in a daze. Oh no, a blood contract. Softy tried to calm down. Wait, making a blood contract with Tang Xu might actually help? She looked up at his forehead, but there was no mark. The contract was only half complete, and it only affected her. Now she could sense his life force. If he died, she died too. But if she died, he'd be just fine. What a raw deal. Softy wanted to cry. She couldn't accept it. She lunged at his face. Gotta try again. Use my blood to finish the other half of the contract on his forehead. This little rabbit's extra feisty today. Annoyed, Tang Xu grabbed her ear and tossed her to a nearby maid. Lock it up. If it keeps acting up, give it another welcome gift. That night, Softy's stomach growled again. That jerk Lu Yi forgot her dinner. Was he trying to starve her? She lay in the cage, limp as a wet noodle. A voice proudly called her name, Softy. It was the little snake prince from last night. Softy perked up her ears. You must have been scared today. Don't worry, I won't let him bully you anymore. The little snake prince was her savior, gentle and kind, nothing like his moody, unpredictable father. Softy happily gnawed on a drumstick. But you have to be careful, the little prince whispered. When he gets mad, even the emperor and empress can't control him. No one in the kingdom can. The emperor and empress? So you're not Tang Xu's son? Softy stared blankly, drumstick still in her mouth. But I've kept a secret for a long time. I want to tell you, but I'm afraid it'll get you killed. Get me killed? At that, Softy jumped up and clamped her paw over his mouth. The little prince chuckled softly and stroked her fur. You're a smart offering. I like smart ones. Don't worry, I'll find a way to get you out of here. He patted her head and she felt her cheeks burn. But once again, she dozed off until morning. She jolted awake in panic. How did I fall asleep again? The little prince didn't even wake me. If they find me outside the cage, I'm toast. She glanced around. Lucky break, the third prince was still asleep. Gotta get back in the cage now. She waddled on her short legs, ready to climb in. Tang Xu's flat voice came from behind. Trying to escape? Softy shook her head like crazy. He must have told you there's no safer place in the capital than my estate. Want to live? Behave. She nodded frantically, thinking, big misunderstanding. I wasn't escaping. I'm screwed. Hold up. Who's he? The third prince extended his snake tail, wrapped it around her, and lifted her into the air. The motion made her dizzy. What, scared now? Tang Xu leaned down, eyes locked on hers. Once again, his bare, chiseled chest was right there. Softy's ears drooped, vision blurring as that weird heat surged again. She instinctively kicked her legs, trying to get closer to his warmth. You pull this trick on him too? Her head spun, she couldn't hear him. She felt the cool scales of his tail. She collapsed against his chest again. Tangshu started to lose it. His tail yanked her away from his chest. Don't think he protects you so you can do whatever. The dazed rabbit snapped awake at his icy tone. He was really mad this time. Softy's ears flattened, trying to look as cute and harmless as possible. But the trick didn't work on him. Tangshu flung her away without a second thought. That night, Softy and the little snake prince snuck into the kitchen again to raid the food. But she'd stuffed herself too full. Her round body wouldn't fit through the doggy door anymore. The little snake prince pushed with all his might, but still couldn't squeeze her through. Both collapsed on the floor, panting. What now? You can't fit. How are we going to get midnight snacks? Softy looked up at the window and got an idea. She patted the little prince's arm. That way! The little prince stood on tiptoe and hoisted her onto the windowsill. She waved her paws, urging him to follow. He broke into a cold sweat. Softy, I don't like climbing. She eyed him suspiciously. He didn't just dislike it, he was terrified. Was the little snake prince afraid of heights? Wait there, Softy. I'll shift into snake form, slither through the hole, and help you down. And that wrapped up another night of feasting. The next day, Tangshu grabbed Softy's tail and lifted her up. He examined her closely. You've put on weight lately, little thing? Why is everyone calling me fat? Softy started to get annoyed. He couldn't resist poking her round belly with his tail. Definitely gained weight. She got shaken until her brain felt like scrambled eggs. Then he hoisted her up again. You're not even scared I'll eat you. Open your eyes and look at me, he threatened. Softy was pissed. She glared back defiantly. What's with that look? Tangshu grumbled and tossed her aside. I really don't get what he sees in you. Are you two idiots cut from the same cloth? He's not just yelling at me, he's dragging the little prince too. What kind of dad talks about his son like that? Softy's head was scratched up. She was furious. She shot Tangshu another glare. Then pouted in the corner, stomping her feet. That's hilarious. You can't even defend yourself and you're sticking up for him? Softy ignored him. He poked her butt with his finger. Looks like I've been feeding you well. It's time. Softy shook her head, clueless what he meant. That night they were back in the kitchen. Lucky break, someone kind left a ladder by the window. Softy urged the little snake prince to climb up quick. But he just hung his head, not his usual cheerful self. She had no idea what was wrong, so she pushed the meatball skewer toward him. Don't be sad, eat. He stayed quiet. He lifted her up. I can't eat. He's sending you away. Softy, I begged him, but he won't listen. Tears streamed down the little prince's face. Softy's ears drooped. So that's what Tangshu meant by it's time, handing her off to someone else to eat. The little prince sobbed, unable to bear the thought of her being taken tomorrow morning. Softy felt sad too. She wished the little prince would wake up tomorrow and forget all about her so he wouldn't hurt. She raised her tiny paw to touch his forehead. But before she could, a big hand grabbed her wrist. She whipped around, shaking. It was Tangshu. Well, the little bunny's all plump now. This one's gotta be delicious. Tangshu coiled his tail around her and opened his jaws wide. Don't eat me, Softy screamed. She opened her eyes and realized she'd shapeshifted. She looked around for the little snake prince, only to find herself cradled in Tangshu's arms. Oh no, gotta change back before he wakes. She tried to slip free, but he held her tight. If she turned rabbit now, she'd get squished flat like a pancake. Her squirming woke Tangshu. He opened his eyes. Softy blinked at him. Good morning? You've got some nerve, little one. Shape-shifting right in front of me. Forgotten what I told you? I'm done for. I'll change back right now. But no matter how hard she tried, she had no clue how. Tangshu lifted her chin, eyes sharp. Did I say you could change back? Snake guys are impossible to read. What does he even want from me? You've cleaned out my whole estate, but at least it wasn't wasted, he said, voice threatening. Softy feared he'd eat her like in her dream. Trembling, she pried at his hands. Please don't eat me. Then give me one reason I shouldn't. Softy's heart pounded. 500 years ago, a purple beam shot from the forbidden zone in the capital, leaving every female creature in the kingdom barren. The whole nation panicked over the bloodlines and turned their eyes to the long-eared rabbit tribe. She couldn't die yet. Got a stall? Tangshu eyed her flushed face and leaned closer. Softy tried to speak. But at the critical moment, she turned back into a rabbit. Tangshu rolled his eyes and lifted the trembling rabbit. Coward. Right then, a voice came from behind the screen. Prince Sunying has arrived. Prince Sunying Tangsei is the sixth prince. Third brother, you're up late today. Where's the offering rabbit you promised me? The sixth prince wasn't bad looking, but he had that spoiled playboy vibe. Rumor had it his mother, Consort Lin, came from a powerful family that controlled a third of the kingdom's military. Softy had no idea if he planned to eat her or not. Tangshu suddenly gripped Softy's ear tight, voice laced with jealousy. Little thing, you interested in him? Softy shook her head wildly, terrified of pissing him off. Third brother, you always hate these offerings. Why the sudden attachment to this one? Tangsa reached out to pet her. But Tangshu wasn't having it. He yanked Softy back like she was his treasure. So stingy, third brother. Won't even let me touch. Anyway, where's that greedy, lusty rabbit you promised me? Greedy and lusty? That's how he describes me? Softy was livid and shot Tangshu a glare. He coughed awkwardly. What's sixth brother planning to do with it? Make money, duh. Didn't sound good. But can a biting offering make money? The biting kind's the best. Most offerings are timid weaklings. The ones that bite back have fire. I've got a few in the arena already, raking in cash. Arena? I'd get crushed instantly. She should have known no prince in this kingdom is a good snake. Softy shook like a leaf, burrowing deeper into Tangshu's arms. I even set up a brand new betting ring just for rabbits. I've got a dozen beefy bear rabbits waiting for it. Bear rabbits? If I go, I'm dead meat. Third brother, the one in your arms looks plump. Is that the greedy, lusty one? Softy didn't want to be sent away. Tangshu, say something, she begged silently. But he stayed cool as a cucumber, lifted her up, and handed her to Tangshi. Take it if you want. Thanks, third brother. Tangshi reached out instantly. No, going with him means death. Softy frantically grabbed Tangshu's collar with her front paws, while Tangta yanked her back legs. Let go, fat rabbit! No way! After a tug of war, Tangzao gave up, panting. Right then, a guard showed up. Sixth Prince, your mother summons you urgently. Tangshu had to leave, but not without swearing he'd come back for her another day. Softy trembled like crazy. Tangshu looked pleased. You've got guts now, little thing. I've been spoiling you too much lately. For your son's sake, please don't send me away. Softy whimpered, tossing all pride out the window. Tangshu, annoyed, tossed her back into the cage. That night, Softy waited forever. The little snake prince never came. He probably thought she'd already been taken. She nudged the cage door, shocked when it swung wide open. Perfect, now's my chance to find the crown prince. She bolted across the courtyard when she suddenly heard the little snake prince's voice. She tiptoed closer to the sound. Had Tangshu locked him up? The floor creaked, startling whoever was inside, but before she could react, a man appeared behind her and threw a sack over her head. Softy squeaked like crazy. She thrashed, trying to claw her way out. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her arm. The blood contract. Tangshu was hurt. He was in the room, too. If Lu Yi handed her over, she was done for. She bit through the sack and wriggled free. She scrambled onto the roof and saw Tangshu shirtless, soaking in the pool. His left arm was badly wounded. She looked everywhere but couldn't spot the little snake prince. Your Highness, we're investigating the Crown Prince incident. You can't even handle something this small. What do I keep you around for? It seemed Tangshu was poisoned. Was he dying? I've got a blood contract with him. Would I get dragged down too? Softy froze on the tiles. But her chubby body was too heavy, and with a whoosh, she slid straight into the pool. Tangshu lunged over. What are you doing here? Louis checked the sack at his side. When did the fat one escape? Who brought you here? Softy instantly pointed a paw at Lu Yi. Under Tangshu's crushing glare, Lu Yi's knees buckled. It must have heard the little snake prince and tried to sneak in. I just caught it. So you came looking for him. But do you know what he is to me? Of course, father and son, that's what he told you? The little snake prince once said knowing too much gets you silenced. Softy didn't dare say more. She shook her head like crazy. Tangshu smirked. He tapped her head. Wrong guess. A lump popped up on her skull instantly. She flattened her ears, looking innocent. Can Tangshu read my mind? But the blood contract's one way? Tangshu handed her to Lu Yi. That night, Lu Yi brought in a bowl of medicine. Tangshu lay weak on the bed, refusing to drink. Lu Yi left, Only then did Softy poke her head out. An hour passed, he still hadn't stirred. She worried he'd die without the medicine. Suddenly, Tangshu's eyes snapped open. "Little thing, what are you doing here?" "Good, you can warm me up." Softy placed a paw on his forehead. Scalding hot, enough to boil water, yet he kept saying he was cold. A fever this high could fry his brain. She eyed the medicine bowl. She stretched a paw, trying to nudge it. Too heavy. If only I could shapeshift whenever I wanted. Her ears drooped. She remembered how her mom used to spoon-feed her medicine as a kid. Way faster that way. Softy dipped her head and filled her mouth with the bitter liquid. To save her own skin, she went all in. She pressed her lips to Tangshu's and fed him the medicine. "Tangshu, you have to get better." She waited quietly, watching for a reaction. Thankfully, he swallowed. Encouraged, she kept feeding him mouth to mouth, until more than half the bowl was gone. Exhausted, she collapsed beside him, her pink lips swollen like sausages. She checked his forehead, still burning hot. "What kind of quack prescribed this? Fine, I'll handle it. Lucky you've got me, Tangshu." She bit her own paw, and let her blood drip into his mouth. "What are you doing here? Daring to lie on the prince's bed?" Lu Wai exploded when he saw her. He reached out. "Hey buddy, read the room, I'm saving your precious prince." Lu Yi glanced at the half-empty medicine bowl. "The prince actually drank it? Little offering, how'd you get him to take it?" Softy puffed up proudly, kicking a paw triumphantly. Lu Yi pinched her cheek until it blistered. He warned that if the prince's mother, Consort Yi, found out an offering was always clinging to her son, she'd turn it into spicy rabbit without blinking. Consort Yi was the emperor's favorite concubine, notorious for being ruthless and hating any offering that got near her son. Softy shuddered in fear. "You're too loud, slap yourself," Tangshu mumbled, rolling over in his sleep. Poor Lu Yi started smacking his own face. Softy signaled, "Drink the medicine," then mimed what she'd done on Tangshu's lips. "See, that's how." Lu Yi looked like the sky was falling. "You dared defile the noble prince. How dare you, little rabbit? The prince's purity is ruined. Give back his innocence." He shook her so hard she spun dizzy. She didn't get it. Just a few kisses. Why the meltdown? The tribute survival guide the officials gave her listed way worse stuff, with snake princes toying with offerings in ways you couldn't unsee. Compared to that, what she did was nothing. Right then, the full moon peeked out. Lu Yi's eyes bulged in panic. Absolutely no letting the little rabbit know the prince's secret. He reached out again. The little snake prince stuck out his tongue. The bitter medicine taste still lingered. He eyed Lu Yi. "What are you holding?" "Your Highness, it's a dead rat. I'm about to toss it." The sack was clearly still moving. The little snake prince didn't buy it. Lu Yi said his hands were just shaking, then bolted. Something's off. The little prince turned to Softy's cage. It was empty. Softy was gone. Lu Yi, panting hard, finally opened the sack. "Hey, little offering, are you still alive?" Softy squeaked weakly. If she was alive, she was about to get squeezed to death. Seeing her frail, a murderous glint flashed in Lu Yi's eyes. He drew a dagger from his sleeve. "Don't blame me, little offering. Once you know the prince's secret, you can't live." "What secret?" Softy was totally clueless. "The prince is planning something big. Can't let an offering like you ruin it." Lu Yi raised the dagger. Suddenly, the little snake prince knocked the blade flying and shoved Lu Yi back, seeing Softy hurt. He burst into tears. Softy opened her eyes, using her last strength to comfort him. Lu Yi wouldn't let go. The little snake prince, furious, bit his hand. "Bully, let Softy go!" "I'll beat you, you meanie." His tiny punches just tickled Lu Yi. "Your Highness, calm down. Offerings are meant to nourish you. Come here, eat her while she's fresh. Your illness will clear up fast." Softy lay on the ground, breathing shallow. The little snake prince wailed, slapping Lu Yi's hand away. Lu Yi was too cruel. Softy was dying, and he wanted the prince to eat her. Softy faintly heard the little prince's voice. She was endlessly grateful to him. It reminded her of the time she nearly froze to death in a cave. Before Snow Princess saved her, her only regret was not killing the crown prince to repay that kindness. Lu Yi scooped her up. "Your Highness, if you don't want her raw, I'll take her to the kitchen to cook." "What? No, give Softy back." No matter how the little prince screamed, Lu Yi pretended not to hear. At the critical moment, Tangshu's voice sliced through the air. "Stop. Who said you could take her?" Hearing the prince's voice, Lu Yi froze solid. Softy weakly opened her eyes. Was it the little snake prince? No, the little snake prince was Tang Shu. But how? She must be mistaken. Her ears drooped, she finally passed out. Lu Yi turned and saw his master shaking like a leaf. Tang Shu lunged forward and snatched Softy back, coughing violently from the effort. Who gave you permission to hurt her? Go take your punishment! Even facing punishment, Lu Yi still worried about his master's health. He carried Softy to a quiet little courtyard. He set her on a stone table. The wound wasn't deep. He didn't get why she bled so much. He pinched her nose. She gasped for air and jolted awake. Tang Shu glared at her with resentment, faking death in broad daylight, making the little snake prince cry again. What a pain. Softy shook her head, checking herself. I'm not dead. The bleeding stopped. I'm alive. A miracle? The more he looked, the more annoyed he got. Just a scratch and he had to be dragged out. Right. When I passed out, I heard the little prince's voice. But where is he now? She scanned around for him. Right then, Tang Shu coughed violently, spitting blood as his old wound reopened. He staggered and collapsed. Lu Yi panicked, seeing Tang Shu hit the ground. Because of the blood contract, Softy felt the chaos in his bloodstream. Oh no, if Tang Shu dies, I'm done. Holding human form was too much after the injury. Right before her eyes, Tang Shu transformed into the little snake prince. Lu Yi sobbed over the unconscious prince. The little snake prince. You know he's the prince's other persona that comes out at night. His existence helps the prince get the food and spirit energy he needs. But because of you, the little snake prince forced the prince to wake up. If anything happens to his highness, Consort E will have you chopped into 1,000 pieces. The little snake prince lay on the bed, head pounding like a hammer. Softy hopped up beside him. So that was the secret he wanted to tell me. But whether it's the little prince or Tang Shu, I want both of them safe. She placed a paw on his face. The scent of her wound drew him in. He grabbed her paw, popped it in his mouth, bit down, and greedily drank her blood. Softy wasn't mad. She just let him drink, hoping it would heal him faster. Night passed. Softy woke up with a weird feeling on her butt. It was Tang Shu's hand stroking her tail. She squirmed in embarrassment, and poof! She turned human again, but completely naked. Did feeding the little prince blood drain all her spirit energy so she couldn't even conjure clothes? What now? Tang Shu better not wake up. She pried his hand off but felt cold. He instantly pulled her tight against his chest. Her body pressed right up against him. Oh no, this is straight out of some steamy story, and he's about to wake up and see me like this. She scrambled to find something to wear, but without her warmth. Tang Shu felt cold and groggily sat up. Who's there? He's awake. Softy hugged the blanket to her chest, freaking out. Is that you, little rabbit? What naughty thing were you doing while I was out? His fingers trailed from her neck downward, making her shiver. He probably thinks I'm trying to seduce him. No, can't let him think that, or he'll always be on guard around me. She clenched her fist and punched him square in the face. Don't get any dirty ideas, this is just a dream. Go back to sleep. She just knocked him out cold. When Lu Yi walked in on the scene and froze like a statue, he rushed in, stammering, Who are you? What did you do to my noble prince? Why are you yelling? We're sharing a bed. Shape-shifting without clothes, what's the big deal? What? You're that rabbit? You dared tarnish my prince's purity. If Consort E finds out, you're dead. Cut the crap. If you don't tell her, how's she gonna know? Lu Yi saw his opening and smirked wickedly. Don't want to end up as jerky? Stay right there. His evil grin told Softy he was up to something. Like before, she mouth-fed Tang Shu the medicine mixed with her blood. Miracle cure the second it touched his lips. He woke up. Seeing the strange woman, he roared in fury and flung her to the floor. Softy hit hard, wincing in pain. She glared. I saved you, and this is how you treat me. If not for the little snake prince and that stupid blood contract, I'd let you live or die. Lu Yi, this maid's way too rude. Send her to clean the latrines. Yes, sir. Lu Yi started dragging her off. Wait, where's that offering? Did it come here while I was out? Your Highness, after you saved her, that ungrateful offering escaped the cage and ran off. Softy stared at Lu Yi lying through his teeth without blinking, wondering what he was scheming. But after seeing rabbit blood heal your Highness, he was now convinced she was a rare prize and planned to drag her to the kitchen for stew. His eyes sent chills down her spine. She panicked and yelled Tangshu's name. Right then, her human form faded away, and she turned back into a rabbit. She quickly burrowed into Tangshu's arms, shaking with real fear. Seeing the maid turn into a little rabbit, Tangshu finally got it. The woman earlier was Softy, which meant the memories in his head weren't dreams. Little bunny, shapeshift back for me. You think this is some trick? I can't just change whenever I want. Then tell me, what were you planning, lying naked next to me while I was asleep? His gaze pierced right through her, forcing an answer. Lu Yi poured gas on the fire. Your Highness, this nasty rabbit had evil intentions. If I hadn't brought the medicine in time, who knows what shameful thing it would have done. In my opinion, just boil it into medicinal soup. That damn Lu Yi setting me up again. Better try softening Tangshu than end up as soup. Right in front of him, she gently bit her own paw. A drop of blood fell into the medicine bowl. See, Tangshu, my blood can heal you. I'm useful, please don't kill me. You stupid rabbit, who told you to do that? Tangshu roared, face full of fury. Softy was totally freaked out. She'd just saved him and he was being this ungrateful. Still, she didn't want the medicine to go to waste, so she gently nudged the bowl toward him. But he knocked it away and started yelling at her again. This was wrong, that was wrong. Was he really going to stew her? Softy stood there like a scolded kid, paws clasped in front of her chest. Tangshu gently took one of her tiny paws. You dumb bunny, even if you're a spirit rabbit, you can't just throw your spirit energy around. Don't do that again, got it? He was actually worried about her. His soft voice reminded her of the little snake prince. Right then, she felt a sharp pain. It was Tangshu. His anger reopened the wound. If this kept up, his shoulder would start bleeding again for sure. She quickly gulped down a few sips of the medicinal soup, then hopped onto his shoulder. She gently turned his face toward her with her claws, and fed him the medicine mouth to mouth. The sight gutted Lu Yi like a knife. My prince, defiled again by that lowlife rabbit? After feeding him, Softy anxiously kept asking if he was okay, but he just stared blankly, saying nothing. She confusedly patted his cheek. Unlike her panic, Tangshu's mind was racing. So that's how she'd given him medicine before. She cared this much about whether he lived or died. Because of the little snake prince? No way. She only shapeshifted for me. Could it be she did this because she likes me? He tossed her onto the bed to test his theory. His voice rang out, cold and non-negotiable. I want an explanation. Shapeshift now, then do exactly what you were about to do earlier. She shrank back in fear. Do what I was about to do? Is he testing me? Does he think I've got bad intentions? But if I obey, won't he just hand me over to the sixth prince? No, you've got it wrong. I never wanted to sleep with you, and I don't even know how to shapeshift. This little rabbit's so stubborn. Tangshu grabbed her ears. Last chance. You gonna shapeshift or not? His collar gaped open at the neck. Softy stared, cheeks blazing. Hold up, this is a trap. He's using his looks to bait me. Heat rushed through her body. She felt like she was actually about to shapeshift this time. Tangshu waited patiently, but in the end she didn't change. Instead, she passed out from running out of spirit energy. That was the last straw. He really lost it this time. He called Lu Yi in and ordered her locked up, saying the sixth prince could pick her up tomorrow morning. Lu Yi carried the little rabbit out of His Highness's room, then casually handed her to a maid. But the second that maid saw the plump bunny, her eyes lit up with weird excitement. Little offering, you're awake? Wow, you smell amazing. Don't be scared. I'm Quigo. I'm here to take care of you. This snake made Quiguo's eyes flashed blood red. No way Softy trusted she was good. Her forked tongue kept flicking out, like she was just waiting to swallow Softy whole. Softy kicked hard and bolted like her life depended on it. Seeing her run, Quiguo, furious, chased right after her. Softy ran until she was exhausted, barely slipping away from her. If Lu Yi hadn't almost killed me last night, I'd have escaped ages ago. Just a bit more, and she'd be back with Tangshu. She gathered her strength and leaped with both legs, but landed straight back into darkness. Ugh, seriously? Lu Yi or Quigo this time? Sixth Prince Tangshu picked her up, a sly grin spreading across his face. Just like the old tale, waiting for a rabbit by the tree. Couldn't be more spot on. Softy thrashed inside the sack, protesting wildly. Tangso seemed to get her anger and promised to let her out. But hearing that familiar voice, a bad feeling crept up on her. My plump, silly, lusty little rabbit, we meet again. Help, it's that dangerous Tang-si. But something even scarier was happening. Quigo had turned into a massive python, slithering closer. Seeing that bloodthirsty monster, Softy's whole life flashed before her eyes. She quickly dove back into the sack. But that jerk Tang-si threw the whole sack toward the giant snake. Tang-si, you filthy venomous creep! The snake opened its massive jaws to swallow her whole. At the last second, Tang-si's tail whipped out, pulling her back. Softy's soul practically left her body, while Tang-si just laughed, teasing her. Fun, right? My arena's way more thrilling than this. Tang-sa couldn't believe how stupid she was. His third brother had kept this rabbit for a whole month without harming a single hair, and this little maid dared try to kill it? She'd brought this on herself. With one whip of his tail, Tang-sa killed Quigo. Softy was stunned by his brutality. Little bunny, you didn't die of fright? Looks like you're perfect for Thousand Mechanisms Pavilion. Tang-sa hummed as he carried her off. Next time I see third brother, I gotta thank him. She silently begged the little snake prince and Tang-shu for help. If Tang-sa took her, it'd be a death sentence. Tang-shu, are you really abandoning me? Tang-sha hummed as he strolled back to his palace. But the rabbit in the sack kept thrashing nonstop. Her two front teeth gnawed relentlessly at the fabric, finally making a hole big enough to squeeze through. But the second she tasted freedom, she froze. Tang-sa stood right in front of her. Trying to escape, little bunny? Too bad Lu Yi already spilled all your tricks to me. Ahaha, little bunny, should I take you to the arena or the training hall? Tang-sa tickled under her chin, making her feel his killing intent loud and clear. She started shaking. Tang-shu, you jerk! If you don't save me, I'll tell everyone your secret. When the little snake prince doesn't see me tonight, he'll flip. Then what? I've decided. To the training hall! Tang-si grabbed the cage with her in it and strode out. Softy was so scared tears streamed down. Suddenly, something flew in and slashed Tang-si's hand, leaving a deep gash. And she dropped from his grip. It was Tang-shu. I finally got some sleep and your noise woke me up. But I'm pretty sure I cast a sound-blocking spell. You've got some nerve using a sound-blocking spell to sneak into my estate and steal my rabbit. But your spell didn't muffle the rabbit's squeaks. Come here, little bunny. Tang-shu opened the cage door. Softy was so touched she almost cried. Tang-shu, you weren't gonna give me away. You really are a good snake. She leaped straight into his arms, instinctively rubbing her cheek against his chin. Tang-shu flinched, his face flushing red all the way to his neck. Third brother! You care way too much about this rabbit. I'm your actual brother. How can you hurt me over it? Tang-chi pouted. Tang-shu didn't bother comforting him. Cut the nonsense. My mother's consort Yi, yours is consort Lin. We're not blood brothers. Tang-shu hadn't expected him to be so cold. He sulked for a second, then flashed a wheedling grin. Third brother, you should actually thank me this time. If I hadn't stepped in, your precious rabbit would have been eaten by that maid out in the yard. Afraid Tang-shu would believe him, Softy quickly patted his chest with her tiny paws, signaling, Don't listen. If he hadn't grabbed me, I'd have been back ages ago. Fine, I believe you, Tang-shu said, sounding a little annoyed, then hugged her tight to his chest. Softy kept lightly patting him, wondering if he really got her message. Third brother, ever wonder why that maid lost control and tried to eat the little rabbit? I figure it's because of its intoxicating scent. Tang-chi leaned in close to her. A wave of jealousy hit. Tang-shu shoved him back without hesitation. This little rabbit is mine. No one touches her. Tang-su's words reminded Softy that offering rabbit blood can heal wounds but also triggers hunting instincts. So long-eared rabbits always avoid getting hurt and only go out once healed. But my wound's already closed. Why's the scent still there? Sniff me, Tang-shu. She stood on tiptoe, lifting a paw near his mouth. Tang-shu groaned at her cluelessness. His face flushed again. He stuffed her back into the cage, then draped a black cloth over it. Little bunny, you stay put in there for a few days for me. Softy felt her heart shatter. You idiot, Tang-shu. Does it have to be this extreme? I just touched your lips and now you're locking me in the dark? That night, Softy was woken by noises at the cage. She rubbed her eyes, unsure how long she'd slept. When she looked up, she saw the little snake prince. Little Softy, I searched everywhere but couldn't find the key. Looks like no midnight snack run tonight. Softy pointed to the top of the cage. He could just take the whole cage with him. When they got behind the kitchen, the hole they used to squeeze through was sealed. Now the only way was climbing the ladder. But the little snake prince was scared of heights and didn't want to. Yet when he saw her drooling from hunger, his heart softened. If he didn't go, she'd starve. He set her on a rock, took a deep breath, then charged straight at the door. The door flew open. "Little Softy, let's eat." The kitchen was full of mouth-watering goodies. Softy ate until her belly was round and tight. "Little snake prince, why aren't you eating? I'm not in the mood today." Tang Shu and the little snake prince. One refuses medicine by day, the other skips food by night. Even iron beasts couldn't handle that. "No way, you gotta eat something." She pushed a drumstick toward him. He couldn't say no and reluctantly took a bite. But right after, he started coughing hard. Softy watched him worriedly. "Little Softy, I don't know how much longer I can stay with you. Even though he saved you yesterday, if I disappear, no one will hold him back. I can't promise he won't hurt you. You should find a way to escape." How does the little snake prince know he's about to vanish? Is it because of yesterday? Before, she'd only sensed Tang Shu's killing intent. But she didn't know who it was aimed at. Turns out Tang Shu wants to erase that other persona. He wants the little snake prince gone forever. "Oh, little snake prince, I don't want you to go. You're my only friend in this whole kingdom." The little snake prince scooped her up and gently kissed her forehead. "Thank you, Softy. Everyone else wants me gone. Only you want me to stay, that really makes me happy. You know, I've known you for a while but never asked your real name. Do you have one, little Softy?" She scratched a character on his palm with her claw. "Ruan, huh? All right, Ruanbao. Don't worry, before I disappear, I'll make sure you get out of here safe." He called her Ruanbao, Ruin Treasure, making her cheeks burn. As dawn approached, the little snake prince draped the black cloth over her cage again. Softy clutched a meat skewer tight. The little prince hadn't eaten, he'd be hungry as Tang Shu tomorrow morning. She should save it for him. But what's the little prince writing on the table? Who's it for? The next morning, Tang Shu showed up and casually picked up the paper on the table to read. Softy saw everything, so that's how they communicate. After reading the paper, Tang Shu's face darkened. He crumpled it up, then burned it. Softy peeked out secretly, worried sick. She didn't know what the little prince wrote, but Tang Shu was clearly furious. Suddenly, he ripped off the black cloth over the cage. His eyes were ice cold. "Had a good look, little bunny?" Their eyes locked, the air thick with tension. Softy trembled, wondering what was on that paper to make him this mad. She pushed the leftover meat skewer from last night toward him. Tang Shu eyed it covered in rabbit fur with disgust. "Your Highness, Lady E summons you?" Louis called from the door. He glanced at the little rabbit, then strode out, ignoring her desperate squeaks. A maid entered the room. Softy watched her warily. "My name's Yingo. His Highness sent me to take care of you." Softy almost laughed. So Tang Shu still had a shred of conscience. But this girl was young, she could snap like Quigo. At least she couldn't open the cage. Feeling safe for now, Softy curled up to sleep. The little maid nodded off beside her. Suddenly, a masked figure appeared and knocked the maid out. He lifted the cage and carried Softy away. She was stuffed into a black sack again. The jostling woke her. "Oh God, not again. Who is it this time? Tang Shu, little snake prince, save me." "Eunuch Su, the offering has arrived." The sack was opened and Softy timidly poked her head out. "Where am I?" "Oh no, this is the imperial kitchen." Eunuch Su sized her up, then ordered a palace maid to tie a pink ribbon around her neck. That could only mean they were going to eat her. Softy panicked. Only Tang Shu had the cage key. Had he really handed her over to be cooked? That jerk. She'd even saved him a meatball. A young palace maid inspected her whole body, then set her on a small cushion. Eunuch Su led them into the palace. Softy curiously peeked around. "Your Majesty, the little rabbit has been delivered." "Bring it in." Softy trembled as she looked at the beautiful snake-like woman sitting before her. Rumor had it the palace consorts were obsessed with beauty, and snow rabbit blood was the ultimate youth elixir. This woman was definitely going to eat her. "Little snake prince, goodbye forever. I hear you love to eat." The snake woman smiled, pushing a plate of pastries toward her. Softy blinked innocently. "This is for me?" Whatever, they wouldn't poison her. Who eats a poisoned rabbit? She picked up a pastry and popped it in her mouth. Soft, sweet, melted on her tongue. If this was her last meal, she'd make it count. What an adorable little creature. "All right, take it back." Softy froze. "Brought her all this way? just to feed her pastries? Who on earth was this beautiful snake woman? Scratching sounds came from the cage. Softy rubbed her eyes. It was the little snake prince. He hadn't visited her in 2 whole days. Her ears drooped with worry. He was clawing at the lock. And with a click, it finally popped open. He tried to scoop her into his arms, but stumbled and collapsed. Softy hopped to his side. Ruanbao, you have to run. Get out of here, at least before I disappear. She was terrified. She didn't want him to vanish. But he was getting weaker, almost shifting back to Tangshu. The time he could control their body was shrinking, until he'd be gone for good. Her face scrunched up, she decided to use her blood to help him. Spirit rabbit blood could heal physical wounds. Maybe it could mend a damaged soul, too. She bit her tongue and fed him her blood. Please don't fade away. The blood stabilized his soul, but he slipped into a deep coma. Only then did Softy realize she'd shapeshifted successfully. Not fully, but she didn't know why. She looked at the little snake prince, full of worry. His face was twisted, mumbling "Mom" over and over. Softy's heart ached. She hummed a lullaby like her mom used to, trying to comfort him. The little snake prince existed because Tangshu feared something. When that fear vanished, so would he. Softy didn't want to lose her friend, but she had no idea what to do. She lost her appetite and didn't want to eat. Tangshu eyed her with a weird, jealous look. Not hungry today? Is it because he fed you last night, so now you're too good for my food? That pissed Softy off. I hurt myself saving you. So you bit your tongue in your sleep. What a clumsy rabbit. But what did you two do last night to make you turn human? I don't know how I shapeshifted. Just did the same as I did with you before. Same as with me? Tangshu suddenly recalled her kissing him. His mood soured. He pinched her cheek. The little snake prince is the little snake prince, and I'm me. What you do with me, you don't do with him. Softy was speechless. Aren't they the same person? Right then, Lu Yi burst in. Your Highness Lady E orders the gluttonous offering rabbit brought to her. What, me again? Softy clung to Tangshu's arm. Why does your mom want me? She's not going to eat me, right? Save me. I don't know how to turn back into a rabbit. Tangshu looked annoyed and told Lu Yi to take her. But just like when Tangxi tried to take her, she still wouldn't let go. Lu Yi was worn out. Who knew this dumb rabbit was so strong for a girl? In the tug-of-war, they accidentally ripped Tangshu's robe open. Softy panicked, hands flailing. I didn't mean to. I'll tie it back for you. She carefully retied the sash. But her hair got caught in his robe. They were standing way too close, and it felt weird. Softy freaked out. Tangshu suddenly grabbed her hands. Don't move, stay just like this. She was forced to look up at him, her heart pounding in her chest. He tried pulling her closer into his arms. Their bodies pressed together. Your heart's racing, little bunny. Is it because of me? Ha, you really are a lusty little thing. He leaned in close, making Softy's heart feel like it might explode. Suddenly, with a poof, she turned back into a rabbit. So Tangshu was right. The key to her shape-shifting was a racing heartbeat. Your Highness, I'll take her to the Empress now, Lu Yi said. Yeah, go ahead. As Lu Yi carried her away, Softy blinked at Tangshu, begging him not to let her go. But she was taken anyway. The familiar process, the familiar place. Your Majesty, the little rabbit has arrived. Softy was shocked to realize the beautiful, gentle woman was Consort E. She felt a bit embarrassed. The consort scooped her up. Look, everyone, my shoe found such a cute little creature. I just had to show you. She set Softy on a table full of pastries. Eat up, bunny. Softy's tongue still hurt. But who could say no to the beautiful, kind Consort E? She nibbled on the treats. You know, the consort said, eyeing the pearl bracelet on her wrist. I feel like this bracelet is missing something. Your eyes are pretty nice, little creature. I think they'd look perfect strung with these pearls. Cold sweat broke out on Softy's fur. So Consort E was just like Tangshu, a scary, vicious snake. Your Majesty, the palace maids are experts at eye removal. Should I call them now? Great idea. Anyway, I think they'd make stunning earrings instead, to highlight the Empress's face. Hearing those cruel words, Softy slumped down. She felt so wronged she started crying. Oh my, I went too far. Little bunny, did I scare you? Sorry, I was just kidding. I know you're a poor kid, sent to a place like this way too young. The consort's face softened with motherly warmth as she comforted her. Softy stared, stunned. She was actually apologizing, so noble, yet so gentle. She reminded her of her mom. Ruan Bao, remember, the only reason you're alive today is because Shu likes you. If you want to live, keep him happy. Consort E called me Ruan Bao, but only the little snake prince calls me that. Little Ruan Bao, you should know, in my heart, they're no different. They're both my sons. Be a good girl and eat this candy, it'll keep you safe. Tang Shu got back to his room, after bathing. He found the little rabbit waiting. The candy must have been strong. Softy lay on the cushion, flushed and fidgety. He lightly touched her. What's wrong, little creature? You look wiped out. Fever? His cool hand pressed her skin. Snake skin, gotta feel it. Softy shamelessly threw herself at his chest. Tang Shu was embarrassed and annoyed. What are you doing, little creature? Get off me or I'll skin you. She mumbled, burrowing closer. He quickly realized something was off. Little creature, did Consort E give you an aphrodisiac? Before the words were out, Softy, now human, lunged at him on the bed. She gazed at him with pity. Tang Shu, I feel awful. She kissed his face. That crossed Tang Shu's line. He clamped a hand over her mouth, grabbed a bedsheet, wrapped her up like a burrito and tossed her onto the mattress. She squirmed uncomfortably. Turn back into a rabbit. If you do, I'll pretend this never happened. What did you say? Is it because I can't perform, Tang Shu? Hearing that bold accusation, Tang Shu nearly spat blood. Little bunny, do you even know what you're saying? You trying to die? Tang Shu, believe it or not, I can't change back right now. Can you feel me? My body's burning up. If I shift, I'll die from the heat, please. The poison clearly needed handling tonight. Tang Shu pushed her down on the bed. He couldn't take it anymore. You got yourself into this, little creature. He tied her to the bed. You're staying like this overnight to cool off. She started crying, making him even more irritated. He warned if she didn't stop, he'd gag her too. Softy was baffled. As an offering, she was supposed to serve the Snake Lord, so why was he reluctant? If not for this weird reaction, she wouldn't be begging. Tang Shu, please help me. I don't know what else to do. It's not that you have no options, it's that I do. He dragged her to the pool. Little creature, if you can't control yourself, cool off in here. No, I'm not going. You're a horrible snake. She tried to bolt. But he wasn't letting her go. He whipped his tail and knocked her down. With a splash, she hit the water. The sudden result freaked Tang Shu out. He yelled, Ruan Bao! His tail plunged into the water after her. As a kid, he'd hidden behind a tree and watched a murder. His mom had tortured another consort's child until it bled and weakened. The consort begged for her kid's life. But Consort E only got crueler, tossing the child into icy water. That bloody scene haunted him forever. Reliving that desperation, Tang Shu yanked his tail back. Softy was happily swimming at the bottom. Good thing her dad taught her to hold her breath. But thinking of that jerk Tang Shu pissed her off, so she decided to stay under a bit to worry him. He wasn't wrong, the cool water was easing her body heat. After a while, still no sign from the shore. Was he really going to let her drown? She decided to surface and check, but as she did, a fish bit the sheet wrapped around her. She was shocked. She thrashed around. But the fish was bigger and stronger than her. With the sheet wrapped around her, she couldn't break free. The giant carp dragged her deeper into the pool. She was running out of air, and desperately called for Tang Shu in her mind. On the shore, Tang Shu sensed she was suffocating, and knew something was wrong. But the image of his mom tossing his little brother into the pool flashed in his head. He was terrified of water. But the little rabbit at the bottom had passed out. And the giant carp started sucking her blood. If he didn't save her now, she'd die. Swallowing his fear, Tang Shu whipped his tail, knocking the fish out, scooping the near-drowned rabbit up. Finally, she was safe but still unconscious. He patted her chest with his tail, and after a bit, she coughed up the water she'd swallowed. The moment she saw him, she burst into tears, grabbed his robe. Why'd you take so long? You have no idea. I almost got swallowed by that ugly fish. Then she wiped her nose on his sleeve. Tang Shu was totally fed up. Your Highness, the ugly fish in this pool is a spirit carp? A young guard said, hauling the massive fish out of the water. What a handsome face. Softy blushed. Thanks, hot guard, for helping me get revenge. Hearing her thoughts, Tang Shu couldn't stand it and quickly sent guard Lan Yi away. But Softy wasn't done. Can we eat that fish? Tang Shu took off his outer robe and tossed it over her head, ordering her to put it on. His thoughtful gesture confused her even more. Sometimes cruel, sometimes gentle, he was so weird. Tang Shu turned away fast, his energy fading. He warned her not to provoke him, or he'd be in danger too. Provoke who? The hot guard? What? You're still thinking about him. Caught red-handed, Softy tried to explain. But the angry prince suddenly poofed into the little snake prince. That's when she realized he meant the little snake prince. Idiot, like she'd do that kind of thing with him. Watching the little snake prince sleep, Softy felt sleepy too. Energy drained, she turned back into a rabbit, held his hand, and dozed beside him on the grass. From afar, Guard Lan Yi saw everything. Softy sleeping next to the little snake prince, shivering and mumbling so cold from being soaked. He woke up. Ruanbao, why are you all wet? Lan Yi, bring a brazier. He set her by the fire. Warm up here, Ruanbao. You'll dry off soon. Lan Yi, I want you to explain exactly what happened. The carp in the lotus pond hurt the offering. Your Highness ordered me to guard here. I don't know more. Why? How could this happen? The little snake prince slammed his fist on the table. This can't be forgiven. Softy grabbed his hand and blew on his knuckles. Runbao, where did that monster fish hurt you? Still sore? She hopped on the table and pointed to the wound on her leg. The unhealing cut made him suspicious. Lan Yi, was that carp an offering from Ying Kingdom? They haven't given up. The spirit carp kingdom he mentioned ruled underwater, famous for golden scales. But they feared shadow beasts, making them signature spirits of Ying Kingdom. Priests implanted goo insects into some carps, making them loyal to their master for life. They could hide underwater for decades unseen, becoming Ying Kingdom's sneakiest spies. That spirit carp was over 1,000 years old. It could shape-shift human. The little snake prince opened a jar of ointment and gently rubbed it on her leg. Felt amazing. Anyway, Ruanbao got hurt and Tang Shu is fully to blame. Softy was stunned by the fire in the little snake prince's eyes. Kid-like, but still Tang Shu. Your Highness, how should we handle the spirit carp? What do you think, Ruanbao? He asked, patting her butt. She made a throat-slitting gesture. Lan Yi thought she wanted it dead. Little offering, it's already gone. Ruanbao means she wants it cooked. Softy happily rubbed her face against him. The little snake prince gets me best. The spirit carp was turned into sweet and sour fish. Softy's mouth watered. She patted his hand. You eat too. He blushed. I'm not hungry. She pouted. He hadn't eaten properly in days. Even with her blood, it wasn't enough. Right then, he started shaking hard. She thought he was about to turn back into Tang Shu. But no. He shrank into a tiny black snake, curled up and trembling. She hugged his body, but it didn't help. He got colder. The lotus pond water is ice cold. The chill has seeped into your Highness's body and could damage his heart. Little offering, he saved you. Now it's your turn to save him. Lan Yi drew his knife. Softy was ready and stuck out a paw. He made a small cut, and the little snake prince immediately started drinking from the wound. She watched him anxiously. Don't waste a drop. He drank so long she felt like she'd turn into rabbit jerky. I told you we should have used a bowl. Right then, his tail twitched. Tang Shu was coming back. But even after shifting, he kept drinking her blood. She had to yank with all her might to pull her paw free. She tried to dodge, but he grabbed her, bit into her leg and kept drinking. Her head spun. The little snake prince sank his fangs into her plump leg and bit hard. If he didn't let go, she'd be drained dry. In panic, she managed to shapeshift and kicked him square in his handsome face. Of the 36 strategies, running is best. She bolted for the door. But he was a step faster, snatched her ankle, and sent her crashing to the floor. Lan Yi, do something with your prince. Your Highness is awake, I'll go prep lunch. And with a whoosh, Lan Yi vanished. Tang Shu loomed behind her, eyes full of predator, and lunged at her again. Terrified, she screamed his name, hoping to snap him out of it. But he just pinned her wrists and licked the blood from her hand. Tang Shu, you can't drink more. Keep this up and I'll die. She couldn't take it and unleashed her ultimate move, Iron Headbutt. No snake could withstand her headbutt, and Tang Shu was no exception. She wrestled to drag his unconscious body onto the bed. After a chaotic night, she was wiped out too. Looking at his sleeping form, she decided to lie down beside him. All night, his hand stayed under her head. He flexed his stiff fingers, then glanced at the bruise on her leg, eyes flashing with anger. He gently touched it. then like a troublemaker jabbed hard at the bruise. Softy shot up in bed. Tangshu, why'd you do that? Little bunny, where'd that bite mark come from? What did you and him do behind my back last night? I couldn't even do anything, he's just a kid. What could he do? If it was any other snake last night, I'd have been fine. Her bold words left him speechless. You saying I can't perform? It's only because the Empress gave me that pill that I lost control. Your Highness, you're not my only option. Why'd you throw me in the pond as fish bait? Tangshu's brow furrowed. Little bunny, were you hoping another snake would help you? Why not? I was suffering. All I want is to survive. Let me go. You're so unreasonable. You can't do it yourself, but you won't let anyone else help. Her words made him angrier by the second. He gripped her chin tight. Don't you know when to stop, little bunny? Only then did he notice the glaring wound on her palm, and remembered what happened last night. So she got hurt because of him. He loosened his grip, voice low with possession and jealousy. No one else gets to help. Your Highness, Lan Yi called from outside. I've confirmed the Crown Prince met privately with Ying Kingdom's envoy. In that case, I think this spirit carp is too big to eat alone. We should invite the Crown Prince to share. Softy was stunned. But good news, she'd finally meet the infamous Crown Prince. The goal she'd longed for was about to appear. The Crown Prince would attend the banquet tomorrow. Perfect chance to poison him. But where would she get poison? This wound, ow, it hurts. This spirit carp bite won't heal. Tangshu, you're responsible. Take me to a doctor. If she saw a doctor, she could definitely get some poison from him. Fine. Lan Yi, have Yingguo fetch Dr. He Yixian. You stay here and watch the little bunny. Then, rethinking, he added, actually, better stand at least 10 meters away from her. While waiting, Softy swung on the courtyard swing. Lan Yi, following the prince's orders, stood far off. Lan Yi, don't be so stiff. Want one? She offered him a cherry, but he didn't react. Who needs my special care? Softy turned and saw a tiny girl. Red hair, floating mid-air. Are you the injured one? You got it. Softy pointed to the wound. A spirit carp bit me and it won't heal. What? You dragged me here for a little scratch? The tiny doctor grumbled and started flying off. Softy grabbed her wing. Wait, Dr. Yixian! I've got a deal for you. You know I'm a pinkwood spirit rabbit. My blood can heal. You're staying at the estate to treat the prince, right? I can help you. The tiny doctor looked intrigued. She rummaged in her bag. I don't have enough herbs. I need to go back to my garden to brew medicine. An idea sparked in Softy's head. I'll come with you. But the doctor shot it down instantly. That's my garden, full of my precious herbs. Doctor, how about this? I'll go with you and you can take some of my blood to study. If Lan Yi were there, he'd definitely object. Softy gave her the most sincere, wide-eyed look possible. The tiny doctor thought it over and agreed. She turned to Lan Yi. The treatment needs a medicinal bath. You don't need to follow. I'll handle her myself. Softy cheered and hugged the doctor. In the doctor's garden, Softy gazed at all the herbs. Don't touch anything, the doctor warned. Some are deadly poison. Softy casually asked which ones were toxic to steer clear of them. The tiny doctor had no clue she'd named every single herb. Softy could barely contain her glee. Everything was going smoothly. While the doctor was busy, Softy quietly stuffed a few toxic herbs into her pocket. Your Highness. Lan Yi's voice from the door. Tangshu was here. He couldn't see. Gotta hide now. She jumped into a large medicinal bathtub in the room. Doctor, the prince is here. Just tell him I'm bathing. Where'd the little rabbit go? She's detoxing in the bath inside. As if he hadn't heard, Tangshu opened the door. Softy panicked in the tub. Don't come over, Tangshu. The stolen herbs were hidden under her clothes on the floor. If he came in, it was over. She begged him not to, saying she was naked. As if he hadn't heard, he walked straight to her tub. Forgot already, little bunny? Is there any part of you I haven't seen? She sank into the water, face burning. I thought maybe you wanted to see more. Her words pissed him off. He stood behind her, face dark. She trembled. He reached out, grabbed the tub's edge, and pulled, yanking her right into his arms. I came to remind you the Crown Prince is coming, he said, voice low and furious. You'd better not wander the estate. If he likes you and takes you, I won't save you this time. But Softy fired back with defiance. Tangshu was annoyed by her reaction. He turned to her pile of clothes. Get dressed. You're coming back with me now. Oh no, he'll find the poison. She jumped out of the tub. I want clean clothes, I'm not wearing those. He stared, eyes dropping to the pile on the floor. What are you up to now, little bunny? Same old trick? It won't work on me. She blushed, but then remembered how much he hated her schemes. If she leaned into it, maybe he'd be grossed out enough to leave. She grabbed his robe corner and pressed her naked body against him. How about a new move, Your Highness? But he saw right through her. He ripped open the front of his robe, pretending to undress. You've gone this far. I'll join you in the bath. That terrified the bunny. She faked dizziness and called for the doctor. The tiny doctor rushed in, saw the scene and backed right out. She hadn't ditched Tangshu, and now the doctor misunderstood. Tangshu sighed. Fine, stop yelling. You've got 1 incense stick's time to get back to your cage. Do it, and I won't ask about what's in that pile. Drawn by the feast's aroma, the crown prince arrived at the estate. Long time no see. Didn't expect you to miss me this much, sharing treasure with me. The second I saw the divine fish, I thought of you, big brother. Really? Then what are we waiting for? Let's start the banquet. On command, 4 veiled young women entered, carrying trays of food. Tangshu's eyes instantly spotted a familiar figure among them. The little bunny had snuck in. What was she planning in a dangerous place like this? The crown prince was seething with rage. Softy presented the divine fish dish to the crown prince. But suddenly he grabbed her hand. Wait, I always test food for poison first. Softy froze solid. Had she been caught? While she stood stunned, the crown prince lifted a piece of fish to her lips. You first, little girl, and you can drop the veil now. The fish she'd offered him was laced with a deadly poison mix. She couldn't refuse. Her hand shook as it touched the veil. What's wrong, big brother? Don't you even trust me anymore? At the last second, Tangshu spoke up. Softy looked at him, tears welling up. Tangshu, I knew you were a good snake. Young lady, come here. Give my brother the plate I've already eaten from. That'll be safer. Oh no, he was mad. But if she swapped plates, the plan would fail and Tangshu would be poisoned for nothing. She jumped to her feet. But the crown prince grabbed her wrist again. Just kidding. Of course I trust my little brother. The crown prince took a piece of fish from her plate. He ate it. He actually ate it. Snow Princess's engagement was saved. Just as she was celebrating, he spat the fish out. This fish is terrible. We should find a new chef. You're right, big brother. However, I hear you're on good terms with the Ying clan. Maybe you could ask them to send over a few more divine spirit fish. That would give my chefs a chance to practice, and in the future, we could present this specialty to father. I definitely won't forget your contribution. What? On good terms with the Ying clan? This is news to me. I'll head back right now and find out who's spreading these rumors. He's leaving! Panicking, Softy stepped forward and blocked his path. What's the meaning of this, darling? Your Highness, to prepare for this banquet, the prince made us rehearse a dance for 3 straight days. Would we have the honor of performing it for you? Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. The crown prince, full of curiosity, sat back down. The poison failed, but if she can get the crown prince to take her with him, she'll have plenty more chances to kill him. He's enchanted. When her skirt brushed his face, he couldn't hold back any longer. He grabbed the fabric and pulled her into his arms. From the side, Tangshu burned with jealousy. The crown prince held Softy close, looking up at Tangshu. Third brother, this dancer of yours is quite something. Why don't you give her to me? Softy shot a nervous glance at Tangshu. Just as she expected, he was furious. Playing it cool, he walked over to the crown prince. If you like her, brother, I'd naturally be willing to part with her. But first, we should probably check her appearance. With that, he ripped the dangling veil completely off her face. What everyone saw was an ugly face covered in a red rash. The crown prince, humiliated and furious, shoved Softy away with a powerful blow. Tangshu caught her as she stumbled. You see, brother? Some things require a bit more caution. You can keep her for yourself, third brother. What rotten luck to run into someone so hideous. Softy was speechless. Am I really that ugly? Seeing how desperately she wanted to go with the crown prince, Tangshu's jealousy flared. He coldly dropped the hand that was supporting her. You want to leave with another man that badly? Softy felt wronged. I have important business to take care of. He didn't argue. Instead, he tossed the bag of poisons she had stolen at her feet. Is this your important business? What were you planning to do with all this? Poison him to death? So you found out? Softy slumped to the ground, dejected. But I failed, didn't I? Go ahead, kill me or do whatever you want. I know everything, little rabbit. Tang Xu's voice suddenly softened. You were trying to get revenge for me because of the spirit carp. But if something happened to him at my banquet, I'd be held responsible too. That's why I had Physician He switch out your poisons beforehand. Softy stared at him, stunned. Revenge for Tang Xu? Does he think I did it for him? Does the rash on your face itch? He asked, gently touching her cheek. A jolt went through her. She had misunderstood him completely. He had only ruined her plan by accident. Don't move, little rabbit. Let me put some ointment on it. If I hadn't asked Physician He to put itching powder on your veil, and he'd actually taken you with him, how could I have protected you? His heartfelt words made her blush. He was so worried about her. She decided to forgive him for now. After all, there would be other chances to get close to the crown prince. But don't you worry, Tang Xu added with a smirk. I didn't let him leave empty-handed today. Softy looked at him, confused. Back at his own mansion, the crown prince had already made a dozen trips to the latrine and looked completely haggard. He was beyond furious, and now he and Tang Xu were true enemies. Later, Softy found Physician He and angrily pinched her cheeks. You're the worst, teaming up with Tang Xu to trick me. Just then, Tang Xu walked in. The little physician ran to him like he was her savior. Brother Xu, look at your wife! The phrase your wife made Softy blush furiously. Tang Xu just patted the little physician's head and she wisely shut her mouth. Consort Yi heard about your heroic deeds and has summoned you to the palace. Put this on. Clutching the new clothes, Softy felt a knot of anxiety in her stomach. Oh no, am I going to get a lecture? The whole way to see Consort Yi, she was a nervous wreck. Your Majesty. It was the first time Consort Yi had seen Softy in her human form. She looked at her with suspicion. So you're the tribute? You certainly have some nerve. Do you have any idea what you've done? The consort's aura was terrifying. Softy trembled, tears welling in her eyes. Your Majesty, please have mercy. The consort grabbed her ear, not showing an ounce of mercy. Little rabbit, you have such long ears. Why can't you remember what I told you? I said to please Shuer, not to go around causing trouble with others. But Your Majesty, Softy whimpered, I really tried. But Tang Xu, he can't perform. Where's your tail? Show it to me. Overwhelmed by the consort's intimidating presence, Softy obediently popped out her fluffy tail. Consort E was delighted. It feels quite nice. It would be fun to cut it off and play with it every day. Softy's life flashed before her eyes. Mercy, Your Majesty. The consort just smirked, clearly enjoying teasing the little rabbit. Get up. I heard you can't control your transformations. What do you do at night? Little Shuer dislikes adult beast people. He thinks you're a child his own age, which is why he's so fond of you. Her words sent a wave of anxiety through Softy. The little snake prince had never seen her in human form. If what the consort said was true, he would probably disown her when he saw her like this. Oh no, is he going to hate me? Ruanbao, what are you thinking about? Your Majesty, is there anything else you need? Consort E dropped the act and handed her an incense pill. Little Ruanbao, don't disappoint me this time. But Your Majesty, last time the prince nearly drowned me. If you pity me, please just let me stay here and serve you. At this, the consort's face darkened with rage. You two hold her down. Ruanbao, if you want to live, you will do as I say. In the end, she was forced to swallow the fruit. Consort E had her sent back to Tang Xu's mansion. The moment she arrived, she rushed to his chambers, but the room was empty. The fruit's effect was taking hold, and she sat on the bed, trembling uncontrollably. Third brother, a male voice called from outside. Softy shot up. Tang Xu stood there, blushing as he looked at her. Are you the little rabbit? She nodded numbly. It seems my taste is excellent. With looks like yours, you'd be a gold mine in my mansion. Tang Xu will be back soon, don't try anything. Such a clever little rabbit, knowing you have a protector. But you're not feeling so good right now, are you? Tang Ti said with a smirk, lifting her chin. She hated it and slapped his hand away. If she fell into his hands, she'd be sent to the Thousand Mechanisms Pavilion, and she'd never get another chance at the Crown Prince. Such a feisty thing. I'm not going to eat you, I just want to help. Look, this is a big rabbit I was going to give to my brother. It seems you need him more right now. As soon as she saw the male rabbit, Tang Chi's tail wrapped around her. Tang Chi, you scoundrel, let me go! He ignored her, pressing a pressure point that, with a poof, turned her back into a rabbit. You'll have to thank me properly when this is all over, little rabbit, he said with a grin, opening the cage. Softy lay on the bed, terrified. The big male rabbit lunged at her. Stunned, she dodged. But that scoundrel Tang Chi was determined to make them mate and blocked her path. Little tribute, you're already in this state. Why are you still running? She didn't listen. She gathered her strength and leaped onto his face. You jerk, Tang Chi! I'll stomp on you until you can't laugh at me anymore. You insolent tribute! How dare you! He sputtered. She didn't care. She jumped to the windowsill, a look of pure mockery in her eyes. Time to run. Tang Chi, furious, grabbed the male rabbit and chased after her. She ran for her life, not daring to slow down, until she found herself at the edge of the pond. Not running anymore, little tribute, Tang Chi panted, a smug look on his face. I get it. Rabbits are afraid of water. She stared at the water with determination. Most rabbits were afraid of water, but she was willing to take the risk. To his astonishment, she took a flying leap and landed perfectly on a lily pad on the other side. She stomped her foot triumphantly. Huh, didn't see that coming, did you, Tang Chi? But he wasn't giving up. He threw the big male rabbit across the water. Get her! The rabbit leaped crazily toward her, but the lily pad couldn't hold their combined weight. In the next second, both of them plunged into the water. Tang Chi stared, dumbfounded. He'd lost the battle and the rabbit. Just as Softy predicted, the male rabbit couldn't swim. She just had to hold out for 3 minutes, and he'd pass out. He struggled for a few seconds before going limp. Softy quickly swam over, grabbed his ear, and dragged him to the surface. Gasping for air, she heard Tang Chi call out, "You're full of surprises, little tribute! But do you know that rabbit is the champion of my fighting pit? If he has any lasting damage from this little swim, how do you plan to repay me?" She gave him a look of pure disdain. How about I repay you with a smile? That was the last straw. His tail shot out and snatched her from the lily pad. She wailed in terror. Is this it? Am I really going to the Thousand Mechanisms Pavilion? He placed her on a rock and, to her surprise, gently started drying her fur with a handkerchief from his robe. She couldn't believe he was being so nice. He must be planning something terrible. He held a pill out to her. Eat this, little tribute. She shook her head frantically. No way, it's definitely poison. He didn't listen and forced the pill into her mouth. You took Consort E's incense pill. If you don't relieve the effects, you'll be dead in a few hours. For once, he wasn't tricking her. As she swallowed the pill, a cool, refreshing sensation washed over her, and the frantic heat in her body subsided. He chuckled and tapped her on the head. You're a dumb, clumsy little thing, but you're interesting to have around. No wonder third brother wouldn't give you to me. Here, he said, holding out a spirit fruit. This is grown with spirit stones. It will help you with your transformations. What do you say? I could bring you some every day. Softy froze, munching on the fruit. What was he up to now? The cute little rabbit had her cheeks pinched by the sixth prince, making her face puff up. Her dismissal of his gift deeply wounded his snake heart. He reached out to poke her cheek again, but flinched back as a shuriken flew past his hand. That's not what I asked you to do, Tang Shu said, his eyes fixed on Tang Che. Tang Se felt terribly wronged. Mercy, third brother, I won't touch her again. Don't be angry. Tang Shu glanced at Softy, who was still blissfully eating her fruit. She's still eating, so she must not be hurt. His gaze then fell on the third wheel, Tang Se. Shouldn't you be leaving? Terrified, Tang Se grabbed the dazed buck rabbit and gave a flamboyant wave. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. It was the most obvious lie in the world. Eat up, little rabbit. The spirit fruit is good for you. Hearing this, Softy began to devour the fruit. The moment she finished, she felt incredibly light, and, with a blush, transformed back into a human. Tang Shu couldn't help but blush, too. Tang Shu, where did you go today? What if Tang Si really comes back tomorrow? I have a lot to do recently and won't be in the mansion much. With him checking in on you, I'll feel more at ease. You call that feeling at ease? He almost got me killed today. Before she could finish venting, Tang Shu turned to leave. Where are you going? Little rabbit, just remember what I said, stay put and behave. Watching his lonely figure, she felt a pang of worry. But it was fleeting. Back in her room, she fell sound asleep, only to be woken by a spirit fruit hitting her head. Who's there? Tangsa peeked out. Me, of course. He patted her head like an elder. Quick, eat these. Once you finish them, you'll be able to transform whenever you want. Softy was confused. Yesterday he was trying to capture her, and today he was being nice. What are you plotting, Tangsi? He was taken aback. He scowled and decided to tell her the truth, leaning in close. Little rabbit, what would you do if I said I've taken a liking to you? Seeing her stunned expression, he gave up, and awkwardly pulled out a dress to change the subject. By the way, third brother wanted me to give you this. It's a moonshadow gown as thin as a cicada's wing. When you walk, it shimmers like captured light. It's beautiful. Softy happily accepted the dress. Why are you giving me a dress? The Crown Prince's birthday banquet is in a few days. Third brother has always gone alone, and the Crown Prince always tries to push women on him. He's expecting it to happen again. So for his sake, you need to go as his date. The Crown Prince's birthday? That meant another chance to get close to him. Her eyes lit up as she looked at Tangchi. Her reaction startled him. She's that happy to hear about third brother? It seems the little rabbit is truly smitten with him. She blushed and denied it. Who likes him? Oh, and this bracelet. Wear it. If you run into trouble, you can defend yourself. I know you don't know how to use it, but if you ask me to be your teacher, I might be willing to teach you. She wasn't listening. She impatiently shook the bracelet, and a golden needle shot out, nearly hitting Tangse. He snatched the weapon from her hand. You almost ruined my handsome face. Get dressed and come practice with me. He took her to a courtyard. She fumbled with the weapon, aiming at a scarecrow. Annoyed, he came up behind her to guide her. No, make a fist. Straighten your arm. Lower your shoulder, don't wobble. Focus on the target, use your wrist, and fire. To their surprise, she hit the scarecrow. She and Tangsa celebrated together, laughing happily. But their joy was cut short by a sudden chill in the air. Tangshu had returned. Tangcha trembled, and seeing Tangshu's death glare, he immediately backed away. Third brother, I was just training her like you asked. You're not mad, are you? I didn't tell you to teach her how to use that. That's not fair, third brother. Wouldn't it be better if the little rabbit could come back alive? Softy listened, a cold sweat breaking out on her back. Are they talking about me being in danger? She didn't care anymore. She ran up to Tangshu. Your Highness, what exactly do you want me to do? He suddenly wrapped an arm around her waist. Little rabbit, turn back into a bunny. I'm taking you out. Taking me out? This will be fun. She excitedly transformed back. But her excitement quickly faded when he started decorating her cute little body with girly pink bows. Tangsa watched, amused. I never knew you had such a girly side, third brother. Shut up and let's go. And just like that, a clueless softy was brought to a banquet. 2 snake lords approached them. Third brother, long time no see. You've raised this tribute well. Wait, isn't that the tribute who put on an eating show for the consorts in the palace? She is quite charming. Little rabbit, how about you give us an eating show now? One of the snake lords reached out to pet her, but Tangshu snatched her up. She can't eat another bite, or I won't be able to carry her. What? Did he just call me fat? That did it. I'm gonna bite you. She dared to bite third brother. Tangsi was highly entertained. She's a bold one. Why wasn't I invited to this banquet? A voice piped up. A little lolly snake stomped up to Tangshu. Both he and Tangsa immediately tried to hide their faces. Poor Softy was left staring right at her. Wow, what a cute rabbit. Is she for me, third brother? The little princess asked, practically drooling. Softy trembled. Oh no, I'm a goner. Softy looked at the little lolly snake staring at her. She looked to be about the same age as the little snake prince, an age of innocence. But Softy was too naive. Tangsa whispered in her ear. My sister may look harmless, but at least 10 tributes have died at her hands. Alarm bells went off in Softy's head. The little princess bent down, her hands reaching excitedly for Softy. Little tribute, I'll take you to get some yummy food. Terrified of falling into her clutches, Softy dove headfirst into Tangshu's robes. The move surprised everyone. Safe in his arms, she felt smug. Heh, I'd like to see you try to get me in your brother's clothes. Her soft, wiggling body was tickling him, and he could barely stand it. He clamped his hands down to hold her still. She was furious. I thought he was taking me to a feast, but it's a death trap. I'm biting you again. He couldn't do anything about her, but he kept her safely in his arms. Since you're here, Wu Mei, sit down and eat with us. The little princess, defeated, sat down next to him, but her eyes never left Softy for the entire banquet. After the party, Tang Shu got into his carriage. Only then did Softy dare to peek out. He had had a little to drink and was feeling dizzy. She started chattering and dancing around him. "Speak like a person," he grumbled. She obediently transformed. "I'm saying it's all that princess's fault. She scared me so much I didn't dare come out. I didn't invite her today. This banquet was for you to make an appearance." An appearance? Why would he do that? She leaned in close, her eyes wide, searching for any sign of a hidden motive. Her intensity made him blush, and he quickly looked away. "You didn't eat much? You must be hungry. Let's go get something to eat. I need to sober up anyway." At the mention of food, she lit up, cupping his face in her hands and kissing him. "You're too good to me, Tang Shu. Let's go shopping." He smiled indulgently. "You really are a little glutton." On the street, he spotted a mask vendor. He bought one and placed it on her face. "So no one recognizes you? Come on, whatever you want to eat, I'll buy it for you." This kind version of Tang Shu felt so unreal. She dragged him to a pastry shop that had a sign for free samples and immediately popped one in her mouth. "Is it good, little rabbit?" Instead of answering, she held one out for him to try. The usually aloof Tang Shu just said, "It's all right," but then threw a bag of money on the counter. "The osmanthus cakes, the peach blossom cakes, actually, just give us one of everything, wrapped up." His generosity whetted her appetite even more, and she demanded sweet soup next. But in a dark corner, the little princess had been following them the whole time. Yingguo was carrying Softy to see Consort Yi. The situation was tense, but Yingguo promised to protect her. After failing to seduce Tang Shu twice, Softy was worried the consort would blame her. Well, if it isn't the little rabbit. I hear Consort Yi has summoned you again. You're as popular as ever," the snake princess said, her eyes fixed on Softy. "It just makes me more curious. What makes you so different from the other rabbits?" Realizing it was getting late, Yingguo tried to leave with Softy. But her simple farewell angered the princess, who slapped her so hard, she fell to the ground, taking poor Softy with her. "You lowly servant, how dare you boss me around?" The princess ignored Softy's struggles and cruelly picked her up. A cold sweat broke out on Softy's fur. "What are you scared of, little rabbit? I just want to see you perform." The princess pointed to tables laden with food and ordered Softy to eat it all. It was an impossible task. The princess was just trying to torment her. "Princess, please let her go!" Yingguo cried out. "Our prince cares for this little tribute very much." Annoyed, the princess had her servants gag the maid. She excitedly held a piece of food to Softy's mouth. "Eat, little rabbit, or I'll have them all beaten to death." Softy had no choice but to stuff her face. But soon her stomach was stretched to its limit. She collapsed on the table, feeling sick. The princess wasn't finished. "Stop playing dead! Keep eating!" she shrieked, shaking her. The motion made Softy even more nauseous, and she threw up. The princess was enraged and threw her across the room. But just in time, Tang Shu appeared and caught her with his tail. He gently stroked her head. Seeing him, Softy's eyes filled with tears. He carefully wiped her mouth. "Third brother, I want this tribute. Give her to me." Terrified, Softy hid in his arms. He glared at the princess, but his hands never stopped comforting Softy. The princess didn't understand. "Why are you looking at me like that, third brother? She's just a little tribute." He didn't soften his gaze, and the pressure in the room was immense. The princess burst into tears. "You'd treat me like this for a tribute? I'm going to tell the emperor and empress." Her maid nervously tried to calm her. "Princess, Prince Yezun has a serious condition, and His Majesty is especially lenient with him. If you argue with him and he has an episode, what will you do?" Softy looked up at Tang Shu. Other than his terrifying expression, he didn't seem to be in any discomfort. The princess wiped her tears. But in the next second, she lunged at Softy like a madwoman. "She's just a lowly tribute. I want her. I don't believe you'd actually hurt me, third brother." She had miscalculated. His tail wrapped tightly around her hand, and the pain made her cry out, "It hurts. And what if I do punish you?" He was incredibly protective of his little rabbit. The princess finally realized this and panicked. But at that moment, the crown prince appeared, protectively helping the crying Wu Mei to her feet. "What's all this commotion?" "It was that tribute." The crown prince shot a menacing look at Softy, who trembled in fear. He then began to boss them around. It's just one rabbit. Is it really worth fighting over? Third brother, little sister likes this tribute. It's her good fortune. You should just give her to her. Tangshu couldn't be bothered with their nonsense. He stroked Softy's fur. Don't be scared, Ruanbao. He called me Ruanbao too. Softy blushed and snuggled into his chest. Holding her, Tangshu walked right past the crown prince. Being so blatantly ignored was a huge embarrassment for him. The servant started to whisper, criticizing Tangshu for being disrespectful to his older brother, especially since the crown prince was far more powerful. The crown prince, unable to stand it, grabbed his shoulder. Third brother, are you really going to hurt little sister's feelings over a tribute? Tangshu found their excuses laughable. He shook off the crown prince's hand. Who exactly is the one fighting here? Watching his cold retreat, the crown prince finally fell silent. Tangshu brought Softy back to his mansion. The moment they stepped inside, he swayed, barely able to stand. Softy watched him with concern. His heart was beating so fast he seemed to be in pain. He put her down. Go back to your room and rest. Stay away from me. I can't guarantee what I might do in a little while. She was worried and squeaked at him. But he suddenly lost control, hissing at her to leave. A jolt went through her. Was this the sudden illness they were all talking about? Memories of being ridiculed as a child flooded his mind. His body went into a protective state, and his two personalities, the little snake prince and Tangshu, fought for control in his mind. Softy rushed to him and held him tight. It's okay, it will pass. She knew that Zunlei and the others had triggered his childhood trauma. The little snake prince was too weak to handle that kind of stimulus, which is why the protective personality of Tangshu had emerged. Everyone thought Tangshu couldn't handle being provoked, or he would get a headache. No one knew that he would regress into the childlike little snake prince. If his enemies ever found out, he would be in grave danger. She had to protect this secret for him. Sometime later, she was woken by a rustling sound. She looked up to see a giant snake staring at her. She scrambled back in fear. Luckily, the cage was locked, and the snake's head was too big to fit through the bars. But she had underestimated it. The snake wrapped its tail around the cage and began to shake it violently. It wouldn't be long before the cage broke. She froze in terror. Softy, are you hungry? The little snake prince walked in, carrying a plate of food. She cried out for help from inside the cage. The little snake prince saw the danger and dropped the plate. Who sent you? Don't hurt Rumbao. The big snake wasn't scared at all. It stared at him. What are you? You look exactly like the third prince when he was a child. A wave of panic washed over Softy. Tangshu's secret was about to be exposed. I have to take you back to show Princess Zunli. Though he was scared, the little snake prince didn't back down. He bit the big snake's tail. Go away! The snake roared in pain and fury, whipping its tail and sending the little prince flying. He collapsed to the ground. Humph, so weak. Stop! A female voice cried out. The big snake turned to look. You're the little rabbit? You finally decided to show yourself. Softy helped the unconscious little prince to her feet, her heart aching. You heard him, now you'll pay. A blade flew through the air and struck the snake in the eye. It howled in pain. Softy took the opportunity to grab the little prince and run. But she didn't know where to go. Suddenly, the little prince's body grew heavy. He had turned back into Tangshu. Tangshu, you could have given me a warning before you transformed. You almost crushed me. He grumbled and opened his eyes. She urged him to get up. But instead, he rolled over and pinned her underneath him. What new game are you playing now? And why are we outside? She blushed, sputtering that he had it all wrong. What a dirty mind he had. The big snake finally caught up to them and saw the shocking truth. The little boy from before was the third prince, Tangshu. Third prince? No, Tangshu. You're finished now, he roared, not realizing he was already dead. Tangshu turned, his eyes dark. Softy's ears flattened in fear. He pulled her close, and then unleashed a deadly attack on the snake. In the next second, it was nothing but dust. Just an insect, he said with disdain. He was so cool. She looked at him with stars in her eyes. The sickly Tangshu was actually this powerful. If only he could kill the crown prince for me. He gently wiped a smudge of blood from her cheek. Are you mesmerized by me, little rabbit? Of course, you're so handsome, your highness, but who's stronger, you or the crown prince? Of all the things to say, she had to bring up the crown prince. A wave of anger washed over him. He thought she was just another woman who flocked to power, and turned his back on her. She was baffled. He got angry over the smallest things, but she couldn't just tell him she wanted to kill the crown prince. She grabbed the corner of his robe. "It's not what you think. I only hope that, if you need me, I can be of use to you. I'll help you take down the crown prince." Helping him is helping myself. This way I can finally repay the snow princess. Her words made him blush. He dropped the act, gently pulling her head toward him, and to her complete surprise, he kissed her. "You said it yourself, little rabbit. Don't regret it later." He tossed her onto the bed. She scrambled backward. Your Highness, isn't this a little sudden?" He took off his outer robe, ignoring her, and grabbed her slender leg. "Where do you think you're going, little rabbit? He calls you Ruan Bao, but Ruan isn't your name." "So what is your name?" "Ruanuo," she stammered, blushing, as in, a promise is a promise. "Good. Since you said a promise is a promise, can I assume you always keep your word?" "Of course. If you need anything from me, Your Highness, just say the word." "Tonight, I need you to accompany me to the Crown Prince's birthday banquet. It will be dangerous if you don't want to." "I'll go," she interrupted. After all, if the little snake prince came out that night, she could be there to help Tangshu cover for him. "Even if it means you might die, little rabbit, you're still willing." "I am." "I'll go with you." She had her own selfish reasons, of course. A banquet was a perfect opportunity to get close to the crown prince. "Good. Then you'll have to take good care of me, little rabbit." And with that, he kissed her. This was perfect. She could finally report back to Consort E. It was their first time, and their kiss was so passionate that they didn't notice Tangshe barge in. "Third brother, I'm here to take you to the banquet." The three of them stared at each other in awkward silence. It was an important banquet, so Softy wore a grand evening gown and looked breathtakingly beautiful. Tangti was stunned. He ran up to her and asked if she had any other sisters. He wanted to raise one just as beautiful as her. She nearly rolled her eyes into the back of her head. "In your dreams." Driven by a man's possessiveness, Tangshu didn't want her to dress so provocatively and suggested she change. Tangsa saw right through him. It's not the dress that's beautiful, it's the person wearing it. Defeated, Tangshu settled for making her wear a mask. And so, he brazenly brought her to the banquet. It was the first time he had ever brought a date, and everyone was staring. He hated being the center of attention. It reminded him of being bullied by his siblings as a child. Standing beside him, Softy quickly noticed his discomfort and took his arm. "Your Highness." He wasn't used to such intimacy and awkwardly replied, "I'm fine." From across the room, the crown prince was also watching the masked woman. Tangshu settled Softy at their table before leaving with Tangsi. The moment he was gone, Princess Zunla zeroed in on her, her expression dark. Softy was completely oblivious. "You wretched rabbit! Did you think I wouldn't recognize you just because you're in human form?" "I'm going to teach you a lesson today." She cracked a whip across Softy's back. But at the last second, the crown prince rushed forward. "Little sister, stop this!" It was completely unexpected. The crown prince was actually helping her. "Let go of me, brother!" Zunli struggled, but he held her tight. He was studying the masked woman, trying to confirm something. Just then, Tangshu returned. Softy ran to him. "Tangshu, you're back. You have no idea. I was almost—" She was about to complain when she caught his scent. Wait a minute. This wasn't Tangshu. It was Lu Yi. Terrified of being found out, Lu Yi whispered for her to shut up. She was so annoyed. If it had to be someone else, why couldn't it be the handsome Lan Yi? Lu Yi was also stressed. He leaned in close. "Don't worry, little rabbit. Just play along and we'll be fine." For the rest of the banquet, they put on a show of forced smiles and no one seemed to notice. But then the crown prince suddenly called for the tributes to dance for everyone's entertainment. Softy immediately put on the bracelet Tangsi had given her. Maybe this is my chance to assassinate him. The crown prince was watching her closely. He intentionally let his guard down as she danced. Just as he expected, she made her move. But at the critical moment, another dancer bumped into her. Her mask fell off. She whirled around to see who had ruined her plan. But there was no one suspicious. When she looked back at the crown prince, he was staring intently at her face. Oh no, he saw me. The moment he saw her true face, he was certain. His third brother had intentionally protected this tribute that day. Louis quickly picked up the mask. You clumsy rabbit! As if our situation isn't dangerous enough, now you can't even keep a mask on. She was so sick of his nagging that she announced she was going to the restroom. She followed a maid, but the further they went, the stranger it felt. This isn't the way to the restrooms. She realized her mistake and turned to run. But it was too late. A net fell from the ceiling, trapping her. The more she struggled, the more pain shot through her body. Nowhere to run, you wretched rabbit, Zunli smirked down at her. It was her again. She was completely done for. Zunli didn't waste any time and started whipping her again. Softy squeezed her eyes shut in pain. Still wearing third brother's moonshadow gown? A tribute like you isn't worthy. Servants, drag her out of there! She fought back, but she was no match for them and was dragged out. Strip her! No! She screamed, tears streaming down her face. Zunli was ecstatic. Little sister, stop, the crown prince said, his face dark. Zunli reluctantly gave in. Fine, let her go. Consider this lowly tribute my birthday gift to you, brother. I've already taught her a lesson for you. I'm sure she won't dare to defy you again. I understand, little sister. My little sister is not to be trifled with. She loves to bully weak, helpless tributes like you. But I can see why. Looking at you like this, I want to bully you too. A massive snake tail wrapped around her. The crown prince, furious that she was the same ugly woman who had tricked him, was determined to teach her a lesson. She turned her head away in defiance. Her resistance only fueled his desire. He sank his fangs into her long ear, and a sharp pain shot through her. He paid it no mind, his tail boldly sliding under her dress. She would not suffer this humiliation. She fired her hidden weapon at him. He caught it with one hand and crushed it, his tail once again catching her as she tried to escape. He began to grope her without restraint. She clenched her teeth, determined to endure. She now understood the true cruelty of the Snake Lords. But it was still hours until dawn. Right now, Tangshu was the little snake prince and couldn't save her. The Snow Princess had told her about the Crown Prince's true nature, and Softy had sworn to protect her from marrying such a monster. Not paying attention, little rabbit? I'll have to punish you. He pulled her up and slammed her against a wall. She wouldn't give in. She would fight to the death. The moment he was distracted, she pulled a dagger from her leg and stabbed him in the stomach. His guards rushed out, and she was brutally stabbed in return. But she was satisfied with this outcome. Her only regret was that she couldn't say a proper goodbye to Tangshu. Ruan Bao! In her last moment of consciousness, she saw the little snake prince. The next day, she woke up in agony. Tangshu was sitting by her bed, his face etched with worry. Nuo Nuo, how are you feeling? She wasn't dead. He had brought her back. But every part of her body ached, so much so that she couldn't even shapeshift. Do you have any idea what you've done, you foolish rabbit? You actually tried to assassinate the crown prince. Feeling his warm hand, she nuzzled against him contentedly. Wait, is Tang Lu dead? And how did you get me, a wanted assassin, out of there? She sat up, squeaking urgently. He looked at her with pity and gently touched her injured ear. Little rabbit, if not for me, then who were you doing this for? Your organization has been completely exposed. You were the only tribute to leave the prince's manor alive that night. Organization? She was completely baffled. She didn't know she was part of an organization. Tangshu didn't believe her and pressed her again. She squeaked her innocence. I really don't know about any organization. Since she wouldn't talk, he dropped it. He took out a spirit stone. You were badly injured this time. Take this to recover. It's a second-tier spirit stone. It will speed up your healing. Her eyes went wide at the sight of the stone, and she immediately tucked it into her pouch. It was too precious. She would save it for her mother. He was exasperated. In her condition, hoarding the stone was a complete waste. Give me the spirit stone, little rabbit. She held up her empty paws, having already hidden it. He turned and left in a huff. Lan Yi, have the sixth prince bring another spirit stone, and you will watch her eat it. She was ecstatic. She had just gotten another top-grade spirit stone for free. That night, she was relaxing in bed when Tang Sei came in, his head covered in bumps. You little troublemaker! You really know how to get me into trouble. It's a good thing you're not dead, or I'd be buried with you. Here, I brought you some pastries. She happily took them and started eating right in front of him. You've got some nerve, little rabbit. How could you attack the crown prince? I gave you that sleeve arrow for self-defense, not for assassinating people. And with your level of skill, how could you possibly kill him? You were dreaming. Everyone thinks you're dead now. If he finds out you're alive, we're all done for. So Tang Lu isn't dead. Her plan had failed again. All right, don't worry too much. Eat this spirit stone and you'll be able to shapeshift again. He held the stone up high, teasing her. You have to tell third brother that I wasn't the one who told you to assassinate the crown prince. She was so annoyed she bit his hand. Ow! One of you hits me on the head, the other bites my finger. You two are a menace. She ate the stone and transformed back into a human. It's because you deserved it. I'm so sick of you guys, I'm leaving. After Tang Chi left, the little snake prince came into the room. He blushed as he looked at her. Are you Ruan Bao? Consort Yi had said he didn't like adult tributes. She thought he would be displeased. But instead, he threw his arms around her. He had been so worried when she almost died, and he felt terrible that he couldn't help. His concern touched her, and she gently comforted him, telling him that he was the one who had found her. That made him feel a little better. But Ruan Bao, he and I are different. From now on, you can call me Tang Mo. Okay, I'll call you Mo Bao, and you can call me Ruan Bao. He had been too scared to come out after what happened. He only came to see her now that she was awake. She stroked his head gently. I'll always wait for you to appear, Mo Bao. Then, can you wait for me to grow up, Ruan Bao? I promise. I'll grow up fast. Of course, I'll always be here. She was completely charmed by him. A grown-up little snake prince would just be Tang Shu, after all. He happily made a pinky promise with her. But in the next second, Tang Shu appeared. His eyes filled with jealousy. Nuo, Nuo, what did you promise him? She pulled her hand from his grasp. I was just comforting the little snake prince. What are you getting so worked up about? Even so, Tang Shu felt it was wrong. The little snake prince would one day remember everything. The best way to make him give up was not to give him any hope. Softy was stunned. It was clear that one day, the little snake prince and Tang Shu would become one. 2 months later, Softy had amassed a nice collection of spirit stones and was happily counting them in her room. Lan Yi burst in. Miss Nuo Nuo, the crown prince and Princess Zunli are coming to visit? To avoid being recognized, I need to disguise you now. He applied a disguise mask to her face. As long as she stayed by Tang Shu's side, she would be safe. She was quite pleased with her new look in the mirror. Miss Nuo Nuo, remember not to make eye contact with the crown prince. Your eyes haven't changed. You could be exposed. She clutched Tang Shu's sleeve. Your Highness, will you protect me? What's this, little rabbit? Are you scared? Don't worry, no one would dare to harm you in front of me, my dear third brother. They had just reached the gate when they ran into the crown prince. Are you not happy to see me, third brother? Tang Shu sighed heavily. You killed a pet I had been raising for a long time. How do you expect me to welcome you? Zunli glanced at the new tribute beside him. Third brother, the one you have now is quite nice. You should stop holding a grudge against our brother over that other tribute. By the way, I've been thinking about how to make it up to you. I've brought you this batch of snow rabbits to choose from. Servants, bring them forward. Softy looked at the tributes, and her face paled. The crown prince, without an ounce of humanity, picked one of them up. I trained these myself. Tang Shu felt her terror and pulled her into his arms. Don't be scared, little rabbit, I'm here. Softy's eyes darted to the woman in the crown prince's grasp. The woman gave a sarcastic smile and mouthed the word revenge. Softy was shocked. Could she be the rabbit girl who had stopped her from assassinating Tang Lu at the birthday banquet? She panicked. Your Highness, She wanted to kill that monster right now. Tang Shu, seeing her blushing face, misunderstood. Now is not the time. We'll have to wait until they've left. Zunli was watching them closely and was infuriated. Brother, if you have something to say, just say it. We have important business to attend to. Tang Shu showed no interest, which both surprised and angered Tang Lu. He tightened his grip on the tribute's neck. Since third brother doesn't want them, they're useless. We might as well kill them all. Watching her own kind fall before her, Softy couldn't hold back any longer. Even at the risk of exposing herself, she rushed forward. To kill that monster! Seeing the situation escalate, Tang Shu quickly pulled her behind him. Thank you for your kindness, brother. Now please leave. Having angered his brother, the crown prince apologized. But Zunli was confused. Those assassins had been sent to harm him, yet he was giving them to their third brother. The crown prince had his reasons, and now he knew for sure that the rabbit who had tried to assassinate him was still alive, saved by Tang Xu's disguise. But that was fine by him. He would catch her and make her suffer. Tang Xiu knelt to check on the fallen rabbit girl. She's still breathing. I'll get physician He. She might be saved. Physician. He examined her but could only shake her head. I'm sorry, I did my best. Come here. The rabbit girl whispered, calling Softy to her side with her last breath. I am Luonyang, a member of the Snow Princess's Guard. There are 60 of us who infiltrated the capital. Each of us has a green jade token. I'll leave mine to you. No! Softy cried, tears streaming down her face. But the moment the token was in her hand, Luonyang went limp. After this, Softy was more determined than ever to complete her mission and return home safely. She didn't eat for days after that. Tang So was furious. He threatened to kick out the remaining rabbit girls if she didn't eat. Panicked, she begged him to help her in a pleading, coquettish tone. This gave him an idea. How should I help? Tell me. Your Highness, I want to send them to the 6th Prince's 1,000 Mechanisms Pavilion. There they would be safe. Little rabbit, when you ask for a favor, shouldn't you show some sincerity? He said, pulling her into a tight embrace. She immediately understood and gave him a deep kiss. Aroused, he picked her up and carried her to his chambers. They finally consummated their relationship. But at the critical moment, the blood pact formed on his forehead as well. This was terrible. Having finally possessed her, Tang Xiu wanted to keep her by his side forever. But the thought of staying in this rabbit-eating place made her tremble. She made an excuse that she was tired and avoided his question. Tomorrow, she would send the rabbit girls to the 1,000 Mechanisms Pavilion and find a chance to discuss the organization's mission. Early the next morning, Tang Sei was surrounded by a group of rabbit girls. Little ancestor, my 1,000 Mechanisms Pavilion is a dangerous place. Not just anyone can get in. She didn't listen and instead turned to Tang Xiu with a pout. He was a sucker for it and immediately shot Tang Chi a cold glare. Tang Se knew he couldn't win and gave in. Fine, you can all come with me. A rabbit girl named Ganji begged to stay, wanting to repay Softy for saving her life. Softy was happy to have the company. I'm going to the Spicy Rabbit Palace. You're coming with me. The name Spicy Rabbit Palace made her snatch her hand back. No, I'm not stupid. Rabbits get eaten there. But Ganji whispered in her ear. The owner of the Spicy Rabbit Palace is the guard's captain, Kong Xuanji. You can use your token to see her, Nuo. Her expression immediately changed. Fine, I'm sure you'll protect me. Let's go, Your Highness. The Spicy Rabbit Palace was an imperial restaurant with close ties to the royal family. It was as luxurious as its reputation suggested. Little rabbit, I'm going to the 2nd floor to meet someone. You can look around. Whatever you want to eat, just put it on my tab. Lan Yi will be watching you from the shadows. As long as you don't leave the restaurant, you'll be fine. The moment he left, she tried to shake Lan Yi. But he stuck to her like glue. She finally managed to slip away while she was in the restroom and found the captain's hideout. Are you Ruanuo? Holding her token, she said excitedly, Yes, that's me. I heard the 3rd prince fought with Princess Zunli and defied the crown prince several times for you. So you've slept with him? She blushed. Yes, he's very good to me, is he? The incense pills we take not only make us beautiful, but also have an alluring effect on the opposite sex. The snake lords all love the scent. The 3rd prince is just infatuated with that smell. It would be the same with any tribute. But the effect only lasts for a year. Many rabbit girls use spirit stones and gold to bribe officials for more pills to keep the snake lord's favor. I have one right here, Nuo. You can have it. Her words hit Softy hard. She had thought she and Tang Xiu had real feelings for each other, but it was just a transactional relationship. Nuo, our mission this time is to steal the palace's ultimate treasure, the 5-colored spirit stone. Only then will the princess have leverage in her marriage negotiations. You have to understand, you're the only one who has a chance to get into the palace now. What took you so long? Tang Xiu was waiting for her. Afraid of being found out, she said she had an upset stomach. Are you feeling better now? I'm fine. Good. I'm taking you somewhere. Your Highness, here are the 12 treasures you requested. Please enjoy. She opened the box in shock. Is this for me? Your Highness, this must have cost a fortune. Isn't it too much? You're different today, Ruan Bao, he said, wrapping his arms around her neck. But she misunderstood, thinking it was just the effect of the incense pill. She was cold to him. Your Highness, it's getting dark. We should go. He didn't understand why and just assumed she was angry. She immediately gave the 12 treasures to Ganji. Give this to Kong Xuanji. It will help them steal the 5-colored spirit stone tonight. Nuo, I brought you something to eat. The moment Tang Shu's voice was heard, Ganji hid the treasure. Luckily, he didn't see. Softy quietly told Ganji to leave and pretended to be hungry. Perfect, I was just getting hungry. Tang Shu looked at her with sad eyes. Is it good? It's delicious. Can you forgive me then? I swear I'll never take you to a place like that again. So he thinks I'm angry. She would have to go back to the Spicy Rabbit Palace to see Kong Xuanji again in the future. I'm not upset. Then why were you avoiding me today? He asked, lifting her head to look at him. She winced and pulled away. You hid in your room the moment we got back. So you don't want to stay with me tonight? She had to keep him occupied tonight so the mission could succeed. She took the incense pill from Kong Xuanji and swallowed it, then immediately wrapped her arms around him. Meanwhile, at the royal treasury, Kong Xuanji successfully stole the 5-colored spirit stone. But as they were leaving, they were discovered. Kong Xuanji used the 12 treasures to teleport them all away. The palace was in an uproar. The emperor was notified and immediately summoned all his sons. Softy was woken by the commotion. The palace treasure has been stolen. His Majesty summons the 3rd prince. She turned to wake Tang Shu, but he had already turned into a child. The sound of the door opening grew closer. She frantically shook the sleeping little snake prince. Mo Bao! Someone's coming from the palace! Hide under the bed! What's wrong, Ruan Bao? The emperor has summoned you. Hide, so what? What's wrong with me seeing my father? She urged him to hurry. But just then the door burst open. Terrified he would be exposed, Softy stood in front of him protectively. Insolent fool! Tang Shu's angry voice came from behind her. She breathed a sigh of relief. He pulled her into his arms. Who gave you permission to enter? The soldiers, realizing their mistake, quickly retreated. The emperor ordered the treasure to be found within 10 days. Neither Tang Chi nor Tang Shu had ever seen it and had little hope of finding it in time. Softy saw Tang Shu and her face lit up. Their affectionate display made Tang Tse sick with jealousy. It seemed the rumors about the 3rd prince doting on his tribute every night were true. Tang Tse was annoyed by their gossip. It's not a rumor. Tang Chua, still a child at heart, blushed. 3rd brother, they say the light from the treasure last night was from the 12 treasures. At his words, Softy looked down, feeling guilty. Tang Shu immediately understood and, dropping the jokes, angrily ordered him to go investigate. She tried to slip away, but he caught her. Where do you think you're going? She awkwardly said she was going to get him breakfast. He didn't call her out, just pulled her back into his arms. So the 12 treasures I gave you, you just gave them away? I didn't, she said, her eyes darting away. I see you're getting spoiled. As punishment, you're grounded for a month. You are not to take a single step out of this mansion. And so she didn't see him for 3 whole days. She was going stir-crazy. I'm losing his favor. I have to find him and apologize. Having made up her mind, she happily prepared to sneak out. But the moment she stepped out the gate, she heard a commotion nearby. She hid and watched, only to witness a brutal, bloody scene. Worse, her hiding spot was discovered. She tried to run but was stabbed with a long sword. Gravely injured, she fell into a coma. But in her last moments, she saw Tang Shu. Her mind filled with fear, she woke with a start. The little snake prince at her bedside was terrified. Ruan Bao, you were in a coma for 3 days. You're finally awake. Your wounds had already healed, but you wouldn't wake up. I was so worried. Mo Bao, it's all my fault, she sobbed. If I hadn't given the 12 treasures to Kong Xuanji, they wouldn't have been massacred by Tang Lu for stealing the 5-colored spirit stone. Don't blame yourself, Ruan Bao. Even without the 12 treasures, what was meant to happen would have happened. It's not something we can control. Though he made sense, she still felt responsible. The constant stress was too much for the little snake prince and he fell asleep. Seeing him asleep, she decided to slip away. But she didn't know that the moment she left, he woke up. That night, Kong Xuanji presented her to Tang Lu. Seeing the demon again, she couldn't help but tremble. He grabbed her chin. Well, we meet again. The funny thing is, you traded yourself for 50 of your people, but you still ended up in my hands. It seems you're the one I like best after all. He leaned in and sniffed her ear. While he was distracted, she signaled to Kong Xuanji, who nodded. Your Highness, since you have what you want, please enjoy yourself. I will take my leave. Before she came, she had given Softy an incense pill and a fake pregnancy potion. Her mission was to assassinate Tang Lu. A snake lord was most vulnerable after mating. That was her chance. She resisted his advances, telling him she belonged to the third prince. As expected, this enraged him. But to buy Kong Xuanji more time to get the emperor, she told him she was pregnant with Tang Shu's child. If the emperor found out, he would be doomed. But he wasn't scared. He violently squeezed her stomach. The third prince is quite fond of you. But do you know why I have no children? It's not that no tribute has ever gotten pregnant. It's that I killed them all with my own hands. Creatures like you aren't worthy of bearing the children of the capital. He attacked her viciously, but seeing her being hurt, the little snake prince charged at him from behind, biting him. Panicked, Softy knew that the little snake was no match for the crown prince. He was easily caught. Seeing the danger, she used all her strength to attack the crown prince. But they were no match for him. She was thrown to the ground, and the little snake prince was gravely injured. Tang Lu's eyes filled with murderous intent once more. The moment Tang Lu cut her arm, she smiled. Is my blood sweet, Your Highness? You don't know, do you? I took poison before I came here. The blood poison of the long-eared rabbit clan. Everyone knows there is no cure. He couldn't believe it. He grabbed her by the neck. Impossible! Why would you poison yourself? It's laughable, isn't it? I never planned to leave here alive. You've killed so many people, you deserve to die. You think I don't know? There is a cure for the blood poison. All I have to do is eat your heart. She hadn't expected him to know so much, but she would never let him succeed. You won't hurt Ruin Bao. The little snake prince charged at him again. But he was too weak. Are you Tang Shu's son? Let go of me, you little brat, insignificant. He slapped the little snake prince to the ground. She clutched her chest. The little snake prince was too badly injured to transform. She couldn't let Tang Lu get her heart. The only option left was to self-destruct. She closed her eyes, ready to die. But the little snake prince couldn't accept it. Overwhelmed with emotion, he transformed back into Tang Shu. No, don't you dare. Trust me, we can fix this. We will win, so don't you dare give up on your life. Tang Lu saw it was Tang Shu but didn't stop. They engaged in a fierce battle. Kong Xuanji arrived with the emperor and consort Yi. Seeing her son, the consort panicked, but the emperor just watched with interest. No, are you all right? She was dazed. She had taken poison, but it hadn't taken effect yet. Just then, Tang Lu, who was fighting Tang Zhu, suddenly felt a wave of paralysis and was quickly overpowered. Seeing that things were about to get out of hand, the emperor stepped in. He looked at Softy. This is all because of you. Xuanji said you are pregnant. If you can give birth to a child, I will spare your life. Terrified of being found out, Tang Shu stood in front of her. Father, everyone in my palace knows I dote on her every night. She is indeed pregnant. There is no need for an examination. The emperor didn't agree and ordered a physician to check her pulse. She panicked. She had taken the fake pregnancy pill, but it wouldn't fool a physician. Lying to the emperor was a death sentence. Your Majesty, she is indeed pregnant. The result was completely unexpected. But also that she was afflicted with the deadly blood poison and wouldn't live long. Softy was stunned, but if she was going down, she was taking Tang Lu with her. Your Majesty, it was the crown prince who forced me to take the poison. I'm afraid my child won't survive. Consort Yi, seeing this, cupped Tang Shu's face and begged the emperor for justice. Tang Lu cursed at his father's favorite consort, only to be kicked across the room by the emperor. He struggled to his feet, defiant and spouting treason. Annoyed, the emperor had him taken away. Consort Yi, her son's secret now exposed, tearfully recounted how the bullying of Tang Lu and the others had caused his condition. The emperor couldn't stand to see her cry. Don't be sad, my love. I will cure our Shuer and severely punish that beast Tang Lu. Softy conveniently fainted, and Tang Shu made a hasty exit. Back at his mansion, physician, he was in tears. Only the heart of a blood rabbit can cure the blood poison. Nuo only has 7 days. Softy didn't want to die, especially not now that she was carrying his child. Tang Xu, though heartbroken, was rational. He urged the physician to find another way. She put on a brave face. Come now, Your Highness. Let's part on good terms. Don't make things difficult for others. Besides, you'll meet other beast people you like. He was furious. Shut up! What? Are you going to miss me? She teased. He wasn't playing along. Don't forget we have a blood pact. We live and die together. Do you want me to die with you? If I can't be saved, at least our family can be together in the afterlife. That didn't sound so bad. But in truth, she couldn't bear the thought of him dying. The next night, she was woken by a sharp pain. The little snake prince who had been watching over her was startled. Ruanbao, what's wrong? I'm fine, thank you for saving me last night. But she couldn't fool him. He knew everything that had happened. Ruanbao, listen to me. Tang Xu loves you. He will protect you even without me. My spiritual energy is pure and good. It can temporarily suppress the poison. And with that, he began to transfer his energy to her, ignoring her protests. When his energy was depleted, the little snake prince disappeared completely before her eyes. The pain was unbearable. She grabbed the painkillers and stuffed them in her mouth. Kong Xuanji, I want to go home, back to the long-eared clan. Please help me. I've already lost Mobao. I don't want to die in front of Tang Xu. Kong Xuanji, her heart aching for her, agreed. Tonight, I will have a caravan pass by the mansion. You can... Late that night, as planned, she snuck onto the caravan. Looking back at the mansion, she felt a pang of regret. But this time it was goodbye for good. She had just escaped the snake palace when she was ambushed. The tiger prince grabbed her. He squeezed her chin. Pink eyes, a top-grade snow rabbit. It seems my mother can be saved, he shouted in excitement. But as he reached for her again, a sharp stone flew past his face. Let her go! It was Tang Xu. Had he been following the caravan the whole time? The tiger prince wasn't intimidated. He held her up. Playing the hero, let's see what's faster, your hand or her neck. Terrified she would be hurt, Tang Xu and his men didn't dare move. Just then, the snow princess arrived. Stop! Kong Xuanji had sent word to her when Softy decided to leave. If the tiger prince and the snake prince fought, the long-eared rabbit clan would suffer, no matter who was injured. The tiger prince's eyes lit up when he saw the snow princess. He stared at her, smitten. My long-eared clan is allied with the heavenly capital. What right do you have to come into my territory and harm my people? Her sharp question made him nervous. He pushed Softy away. I came to offer a gift. I will trade my Tiger Kingdom's national treasure, the 7 Kills sword, for a snow rabbit to save my mother. The princess's attendant advised her, Princess, if we have both the 7 Kills sword and the 5-colored spirit stone, our clan will no longer need to rely on the heavenly capital. You don't have to make it so complicated, the tiger prince said. This girl is already poisoned and doesn't have long to live. It wouldn't be a waste to use her heart to save my mother. I will not allow it, Tang Xu declared. May the long-eared clan live in peace forever. I offer 1,000 treasures for Nuo Nuo's hand in marriage. The snow princess was delighted. The tiger prince was shocked. He couldn't believe this man would sacrifice so much for one woman. He was even more of a spendthrift than he was. Softy didn't want to be a burden. She pushed him away. I refuse. Please go back, Your Highness. He knew she was only pushing him away because of the poison. He loved her and wanted to find a way to save her. But she wouldn't listen, cruelly denying everything they had been through. She didn't know what to say. Exhausted, she turned to the snow princess, but collapsed before he could reach her. The snow princess took Softy back to the long-eared clan. She couldn't bear to see her so weak. She had promised to protect her, and she would. Right now, she was the only one who could save her. She took out a sharp blade, and without hesitation plunged it into her own chest, which Kong Xuanji had mixed into her medicine. Unaware of the truth, Softy, not wanting to sacrifice Tang Xu's life, had planned to give him her own heart to break the blood pact. Kong Xuanji, her heart aching, told her the snow princess had found a cure and that she just needed to drink the medicine. Suspicious, she sniffed the bowl. She thought she smelled blood, but trusted Kong Xuanji and drank it. The discomfort immediately vanished. She touched her stomach, her heart filled with hope for her future with Tang Xu. After a few days of rest, she was fully recovered. She excitedly went outside, only to be met with shocking news. The third prince had brought many treasures to propose, and everyone was preparing for his wedding to the snow princess. She didn't want any misunderstandings and went to find him, only to see the two of them chatting happily. She stared at the Snow Princess in shock. The princess, seeing her, made her excuses to leave, but not before reminding Tangshu of their promise. It was all the proof she needed. Tears streamed down her face. Tangshu didn't understand. Why are you crying? Are you that unwilling to return to the heavenly capital with me? Don't forget, you're carrying my child. If you don't want to come back, then just have the child here. The princess can bring it with her when she marries into the capital. His words only made her sadder. This is physician, he's heart-blocking medicine. It will break our blood pact. So, have you taken it yet? Yes, congratulations, you're free. He turned and walked away without another word. She couldn't bear it and ran to him, hugging him from behind. I'll go with you to the heavenly capital. Even if I can't be your princess, I'll be by your side. Even as a handmaiden. Hearing her confession, his heart soared. He turned and gave her a deep kiss. You'd better not regret this, little rabbit. Case closed. It turned out Tangshu was just trying to make her jealous. He was overjoyed but kept a straight face. I have urgent business and must return immediately. You can stay here and travel with the Snow Princess for the wedding. Before he left, he kissed her. Hearing him call her Ruan Bao, she blushed. Did he merge with Mo Bao's memories? A few days later, she was dressed in a red wedding gown. The maids even started calling her princess. At first, she thought they were just new and didn't suspect anything. She touched her growing belly, a sweet feeling spreading through her. Baby, we'll see your father soon. The long-eared rabbit clan was celebrating the marriage of two princesses in one day. She peeked out of her carriage. Now that the tiger and snake clans are allied, our clan can finally live in peace. She had no idea what they were talking about. What did this have to do with the tiger clan? At the river border, the Snow Princess came to her. Nuo Nuo, this is where we part. The groom's processions arrived. The long-eared rabbit clan has signed a peace treaty with both clans. This is the 5-colored spirit stone from the heavenly capital. Take it back. Crown Princess, how much longer are you going to chat? Don't delay the auspicious time, the Tiger Prince called out impatiently. The Snow Princess blushed at being called Crown Princess. Softy was completely lost. The Tiger Prince explained, Tangshu is marrying Princess Nuo. The queen of the long-eared rabbit clan has already adopted you as her daughter and given you the title Princess Nuo. The one marrying me is the Snow Princess. Tangshu calmly walked up to her. The Tiger Prince took the opportunity to sweep his own wife away. That day, you asked me to give the spirit stone to the Snow Princess to repay her for saving your life. The stone will help her body recover faster. His words made everything clear. She shouted her thanks to the departing princess, tears of gratitude streaming down her face. All right, today is our wedding day. No more crying. She had been so heartbroken. Realizing it was all a trick, she playfully bit his arm. He happily picked her up and carried her to the carriage. Soon they were back in the heavenly capital, in their long-awaited wedding chamber. Blushing, she could barely look at him. I missed you too, she whispered. Her answer satisfied him, and he kissed her passionately. By the time he reappeared, she was exhausted in his arms. Tangshu came forward concerned. What took so long? Is my sister-in-law not feeling well? Tangshu glared at him, correcting him to call her imperial sister-in-law. Tangshu was speechless. The court officials all bowed. Congratulations to your majesties on your wedding. The voices woke Softy. When she realized what was happening, she blushed and begged him to put her down. He was calm and gestured for her to look down. All the officials were overjoyed at their wedding. After the wedding, Softy laid a small snake egg. Bored, she poked it. It was fun, like a little roly-poly toy. But the moment she said that, the egg cracked. She stared dumbfounded, then burst into tears. Tangshu, I broke the snake egg. He searched through the shell. Seeing nothing, she cried even harder. Our baby is gone. He calmly pulled out the baby snake. Silly, our baby is fine. She looked closely. Wow, he's so small, I didn't even see him. Mommy, I'll grow up, the little snake said cutely. She happily picked him up. You can already talk, you're so smart, just like me. What should we name him, Tangshu? He thought for a moment. Let's just call him Tang Chang. She was speechless. The baby snake cried out, Mommy, I don't like that name. Make Daddy change it. She agreed that the name was too plain, especially since Tangxi's name was so nice. The moment he heard the name Tang Che, his jealousy flared up. He wrapped his arms around her. What? You think I'm not as good as him? He started getting amorous again, and the little snake baby, scared off by their display, slithered away.